Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Tottenham away on Will Stewart 365 for now until we resolve the issues that we've already spoken about. We drew with Brighton. The Premier League results were wild. And our game. Stellini got sent off. Mason was in charge for the last 15 minutes. VAR controversy, outplayed by Brighton. 3 points for Tottenham. There is so much to get into just on that, plus a whole lot more. Anyway, thank you for joining us. If it's your first time, welcome. If you're a regular, welcome back. Let's go.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. How you doing? Iggy, Elias, how you doing? You all right?
What's happening? What's happening, everyone?
Yep, doing good. I had a good break day today, and looking forward to this show now.
Good to hear it, Elias.
We forgive you, Elias. It's 3:30 a.m. where you are, so we get the croaky voice. We completely and utterly get it. At 3:30 a.m. I mean, I'm normally long gone by this point. So respect for coming on, man.
You're going to need to raise your energy levels if you're going to survive on this channel, Elias. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now.
Sure.
For sure. Big up Eugene in the house. How you doing, Eugene? Thanks for tuning in and watching, my man. Mark Swifty, as always, big up yourself. Zach Robinson, another regular. How you doing? Top G14. Yeah, we will mod them. Big up to Finn. Rob Ayres, how you doing? Good to see you. Tony Rodriguez, as always, legend. We've got William in the big business. William in the building. Bring it, big boy. How you doing? Got Sophie in the house. Tiramisu was lovely. Tom Thacker, how are you doing? Alpesh, big up. Rob Belcher, big up to you, my man. We've got Shamu, we've got Harry, LA007, Spurred on, Bob Spur spreading rumours. Look at him, look at his rumours from Bob Spur. Where's the hat? I'm not wearing it. I'm not wearing it tonight, LA007. Not tonight. Sammy Mehmet, big up, man. I'm going to put a photo of you and your boy up in just a second, man. There's so much respect for Sammy Mehmet who came to the protest. Big up to Thor. We've got Graham in the building. Ant, Grampy Grandpa, how you doing? And we've got Paul. Guys, thank you so much for making your way to Will Stewart 365 to get your dosage of Tottenham away. Appreciate your support. Can't thank you enough. I just want to say a big thank you to, if I can find it, Bob Spur TV, one of the only channels out there showing support and love for Tottenham away when we need it. So, Bob, listen, we don't forget, man. I don't. Thank you so much for putting this up. Big yourself up for trying to promote the new channel and whatnot. Look, before we get going, I just want to ask you both something really quickly, right? Are you feeling the rest of this season, or have you checked out? Before we get into the game and everything that's been going on and the protests and the VAR decisions and the other results, and how are you feeling? Because I felt really weird at Tottenham on Sunday. I'm not going to lie. On Saturday, just felt odd.
I'm surprised you even went. I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised you even went. I thought you.
I went to the protest. The thing was, I went to the protest, and I kept 2 tickets behind. I kept the Brighton game and the last game of the season. I kept the last game of the season in case there's a big protest. And the Brighton game, I wanted to see De Zerbi football. Because if he's going to become our new manager, I don't want to watch highlights on TV. I want to be there with my eyes, not whatever camera angle we get from TV. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed by what I saw from De Zerbi football. But yeah, listen.
Is he got the right temperament though? Because my thing was, he's. I'm not saying he's exactly like Conte, but he does come across as somebody that he's not going to hold back. I mean, he literally from the off, he was straight in Stellini's face. So he obviously he has that in him.
He has that ego as well. I would say.
Forget the match right now. I just want to know where are you at as a fan?
Right, if I was still mentally involved in it, I would have been there on Saturday. Let me tell you that. I would have been there because I do similar to you. I like the way Brighton play. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the game, even though we lost last season to them at home. I did enjoy the way they played, so I would have been there. So the fact that I didn't have anything to actually go to the game, and I could have got myself a ticket for it, but I decided to actually go do the completely opposite and actually go to work, and save some money on that. So yeah, in regards, and I did a video this morning, and I said I don't see how this is going to be, the league standing is going to change in any way. Forget the Man City Arsenal race. I'm talking about the rest of them. I still think Newcastle and Man United have got something more to finish in the top 4 than we currently do. We've got some tough games coming up. And if we play the way we did on Saturday against better opposition, which is what we will be facing, I don't know how we're going to get the points, especially away from home. So I don't see much change in that bracket. So I don't know. I'm resigned to how it's going to end, how this season's going to end. And to be honest with you, I had zero expectation against Brighton, which probably wasn't the worst thing in the world. And so it was nice to feel a win, 3 points, even though it was against the run of play. It was nice to come up with 3 points, but I had zero expectation from that game, given the previous 2 against Everton and who was it before? Southampton before that. So yeah, that's my take on it, guys.
Yeah.
Before I come to you, Elias, just sorry, 1 second. I just need to address 1 or 2 questions. What's happening with Tottenham away? We're now in a legal dispute with YouTube, so it could take 1 week, 2 weeks, a month to resolve. And if we win, the channel will stay up. If we lose, it goes down. If it goes down, then you can thank Paddy Fuckface, aka Paddy Hartnett. He's behind it. With regards to why we're streaming on Will Stewart's channel tonight and not Tottenham Away 2, it's because we forgot to set up the software we use to go live and link it to Tottenham Away 2, because it's been so long since we set up Tottenham Away, when we originally went through all the checklists of things you have to do, that when we set up for Tottenham Away 2, we forgot to link the software, and it takes 24 hours. So just for tonight, we're on Will Stewart 365.
But future shows later on the week will be fine. Guys, also, just take this opportunity to say we've got loads of subscribers on Tottenham Away, the original channel. If you guys can get over to Tottenham Away 2 and subscribe to that also. So be subscribed to both channels, given Hanahan goes. Whatever happens, even if the original Tottenham Away channel is back and alive and going again, we will be doing content on Tottenham Away 2 moving forward. So both channels are going to be active moving forward. And we will let you know with the plans that we have once this all blows over. So
if we lose Tottenham away, then Will Stewart 365 will become Tottenham Away.
Yeah.
So just find us whenever you can, and we'll try and keep you up to date. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, but it is what it is.
Yeah, also this show, for those people that probably might not find us live right now, we will put the link to both Tottenham Away and Tottenham Away 2. So for those perhaps that missed the live, they can watch it again. So fear not, man. Listen, one thing is very clear, and I want to make this very clear. We are not going anywhere. We are very much here to stay. Doesn't matter what happens to the original channel. If it means we have to start again, we'll start again, knowing fully well that we're gonna get and more and the rest.
And I'm launching a new show weekly where I'm gonna expose everyone, and I mean everyone. And I'm not changing my mind on that. So that'll be a lot of fun for some of you. Might put some people off, but let the truth set you free. Elias.
Yeah,
now
you
we've
can
got
call
that
that
out of the way.
show. You can call that show "Mud the Wrong Guns."
No. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it "Exposed" in loving memory of Paddy H.
Big up, bro. Yeah,
Too much.
actually,
Too much.
I kind of
I don't care.
I kind of have different sentiments from
That's
you
not my
guys.
talent.
I kind
Go
of
on,
have
go on.
I know.
different
Bob.
sentiments than you guys because you guys are local fans. You guys go to a stadium, feel that atmosphere in the stadium and all that. And I think if you guys are feeling out, myself, I have probably zoned out quite a bit as well from the games this season, like because there are not much of expectations that you can have other than just the top four. And I think top four is not something that we expect very highly now because we have seen that. And even if we go in top four, we don't win anything. So there's not much of expectations there. Like why I think I've been watching the games is to see like what can we do different, what can we do a little bit pragmatic, what's left there to see the remains of Tottenham Hotspur for this season, because there are a lot of injuries and all that, like how managers work things out. It's kind of interesting to see football for the sake of watching football. I mean, we all love football anyway, so rather than just giving up on it, we are watching it as it's kind of like an escapism as well from the shit that is in the daily life as well. But even though it's shit, it's better than some of the other shit. So for me, I think not much of expectations from this whole thing. Maybe to a certain extent, I want to see Arsenal bottling the league. That's one of the biggest expectations at this point, rather than anything else.
It's kind of all we've got at the moment, right? And I don't know if
Yeah.
fans are going to get excited by a top four race, but you never know. People do get sucked back in. So the day itself. Now, I got to the protest. I got there, I think, about 12:30, and it was really, really pleasant to see, because for the first time, the protest numbers weren't massive. It was still about 70, 80 of us. But what happened this time was a couple of camera crews came over, and they interviewed Brian Daigle, myself, Ryan Isaacs, and Ben.
Big up.
They asked us, look, we were here last year, the same thing. 1 year later, the same problems. What's going on? Why haven't things changed? And they asked us questions. We spoke about Enoch and Levy. We put it all out there. But what was interesting was a lot of fans who stand across the road, normally film us and laugh at us, they came over to listen to the interviews. Some of them came over to the protesters and had conversations like, what's going on? Some of them were, do you know what? We feel this way, but I don't know about protesting. And for the first time, we actually had conversation. There's also a guy called Lee Wilder, who's absolute nutter, covered in Spurs tattoos. He had a megaphone. All you people across the road, don't laugh at them because they want to do something about this club.
Is it the rabbi?
Yeah, the rabbi.
Yeah.
Lee Wilder, the rabbi.
And he was telling everyone, are you here for Formula One? Are you here for Beyonce? Are you here for go-karting? No, so support them. And he drew up a lot of attention. And I think that's what drew the cameras over. But just so you can get a gist of it, this was the kind of vibe around the protest. As you can see, quite a lot of people have come to the middle of the road to come and listen to us, to come and... By the way, these are people talking with the protesters. Yeah, so it was a really, really good, engaging day, which is something we have never had since we've been doing the protest. I also want to pick up a couple of people that watched Tottenham away who came down. They didn't go to the game, but they just came to protest. And I interviewed all of them. I'm going to upload the videos at a later date. But I want to big up Harry and his brother Toby.
Big up.
Ashmatic, we all know who Ashmatic is. He came to the protest but didn't go to the game. This is Sammy Mehmet. He's always in the comments. In fact, he's on the show now. I know he is. He's a big fan of the channel. Let me find it. Where is it? Sammy Mehmet. I can't find it. I know Sammy's watching because I put his comment up earlier. But Sammy and his boy Harrison come over. By the way, lovely people. Lovely chatting to Sammy. Got to say, big up to him. Mike Zappa. He's another person in the comments. We had do you know what? His interview was one of the best. So big up to Mike Zappa. Also want to big up Preston. He's a bus driver. He got the weekend off and he decided to come to Tottenham just to come and protest and say his bit. And also big up to these two. Ishak, who's always in the comments. And big up to William, a young lad, just finished college. He got the train down from Hertford to protest and got the train back. Didn't even go to the game. So I said to all of those boys and girls, listen, I'm going to big you all up, man. And I did a really good interview with them asking why they came down. And honestly, the support is there. It's just trying to get people to do what those guys who I just bigged up did and just come down. And it felt like a bit of a community there as well. It was nice, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And even Alistair Gold reported on it. Alistair Gold did a report that the fact there's a small protest. So now we're getting coverage from people like Ali Gold. And of course, Ryan Isaacs with his banner in the middle of the South Stand. In fact, let's bring him in. There he is. Look, couldn't wait to come in, Ryan.
Talking about drivers that protest.
Yeah, it was me and Daigle had that banner out.
Brian Daigle as well. Big up to Brian Daigle. Ryan, what did you feel about the protest on the weekend? I felt it was like one of the most pleasant ones we've done, where I felt fans were slowly beginning to come and wanting to see why we do it.
Yeah, literally the exact same. When I was speaking to Daigle after the game, I said it's the nicest protest we've ever had in terms of like it didn't seem as in any of the other fans that wouldn't normally protest weren't like aiming abuse or targeting us. It was like they were more engaging towards it, which is a massive, massive plus because when we speak and when we're trying to get our voices heard, we want people to listen. We want people to understand. If no one's listening, it's almost as if the protest ain't there. It's like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, has it really fallen down? So we're that tree. We're trying to get people to listen, and they are engaging and they are coming over. It's a start, and we'll be back out there next Saturday. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and I back up what Graham says here. The Rabbi Lee Wilder was brilliant. He said that, I believe, when you can tell if I'm right or wrong, Ryan, he said he's going to come to a few more of the protests.
Yeah, he should be there again Saturday. We've got the. I'm not sure if you've got the poster for the next protest. It's a similar looking one, but we've added a bit onto it, basically saying the rabbi's sermon and a specific time. I think it's about 1:30. Wow. So that's when we're really going to because we don't expect people to be down there from 11 a.m. like me, Daigle, Graham, because that's when we're just trying to put up the banners, get started. If you can get down there for about 12:30, 1 o'clock, just as you're arriving into Tottenham, and just spend 15, 20 minutes, that's all you have to do. That really gets the numbers going. Just in that period, that's when we're going to try and get the rabbi on the mic, making some noise. Probably take his top off again, and we'll all have a bit of fun on the high street protesting for change, positive change on getting Levy out.
Before I forget, Stel, Mark Swift, I've got that mug, mate. I'm gonna the coffee mug. Just been real busy, mate, but bear with me. I will get it out to you. Not forgotten at all. It's just been a few hectic days, but not forgotten, mate. It will be on your way, and I will let you know. I'll DM you when it's on its way.
I actually have a question for you guys. Do you think that having someone like a rabbi who is like that figure, actually he's known among the international fans quite a bit as well, having someone like him asking fans to like come and support the protesters and all that, do you think that was something that made a difference in the atmosphere of the protests, or is it just the general football situation that made the big difference?
I think it's three things, right? Number one, the rabbi he got a lot of attention. But it was fun attention. Attention, okay? Number two, it was a sunny day. People were happier to stay outside than be inside the stadium. So there was already going to be more people in the street. And thirdly, I think, and I'll let Ryan speak for himself, but for me, I'm just at a point where I just don't give a shit what anyone thinks of what I have to say or what my feelings are about Tottenham. And if you're going to laugh, ridicule, banter, take the piss at me because I'm protesting, I'm cool with that. But when I look at you, it says more about you than it does about me, because I'm not laughing and ridiculing your opinion. And I think a lot of the protesters now are just at that point where, like, you know what? We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And I think people are just fed up of bantering us. I mean, that's how I feel, Ryan. I don't know about you.
Yeah. The fact that we stuck at it, like we haven't folded, also shows a bit of heart on our side. The rabbi, you know, it created definitely a positive atmosphere. The atmosphere was more positive, upbeat. You know, people came over. There was more engaging. Numbers still lacking. That we will have to say. We want to get the numbers higher for next week. So if we can get a 1 point during the entire time, 100 to 150 people, then we know we're going to go somewhere. And the next week we can keep building. Look, it took Newcastle 15 years to get rid of Mike Ashley. It's taken Manchester United, another 15, 16, 17 years to get rid of the Glazers. It's not going to be a quick process, but the only way to carry on, you cannot stop. Otherwise, they'll get comfortable. They're feeling like they're fine. All the news outlets will go quiet. We need to keep at it. If you're not happy with the direction Tottenham are going in on the pitch, off the pitch, look, off the pitch, we can't have any complaints, but I don't care what happens off the pitch. I don't care. That's what I said. I don't care about the sponsorships. I don't care about the F1. I don't care about the Skywalk. I don't care about any of that rubbish. I care about what is happening on that football pitch. And on that football pitch, we're playing dull and boring football, which most fans have complained about all season. We haven't won silverware for 15 years. Our best player may be leaving. Okay. Our second best player may be leaving. We don't have a defensive line. We don't have a creative midfielder. Okay. And we don't even have a manager. And all that's got to be sorted in the summer. So that's interesting.
Listen, we put up a list the other day. I'm sure I've got it here somewhere. I don't delete much. Yeah, look, there's a list of issues, right? I mean, you know, you can rewind back and screenshot that, guys. For those of you watching at home, Ryan's got a point. I want to get onto the game because the protest made its way into the stadium, but a lot of other things happened in that stadium as well. And I've got to say, it was one of the most dysfunctional games of football I've ever sat there and participated in, right? Let's start with the beginning of the game, right? I'm gonna go step by step how this game on the pitch and off the pitch, on the sidelines and in the terraces played out, okay? So it began with the team lineup, right? So when you guys saw this team lineup, Lloris in goal, Romero, Dylong, lay back three, Porro and Perisic as the wing backs, Skip and Højbjerg in the middle, Kulu, Kane, Son up front, with Foster, Austin, two goalkeepers on the bench, Tanganga and Sanchez, two defenders on the bench, Pape Sarr, Divine, Mundell, Danjuma, four midfielders, and Richarlison coming back from injury up front. What were your initial thoughts, Iggy, when you saw that starting lineup? Were you like, yeah, we got this, man, Brighton, bring it on? Or were you just a bit surprised by the same old? What was your... What were you expecting?
To be honest with you, bring it up that team, right? If you look at that team and you say to yourself, I look at the first thing I do, I look at the 11 that are out there, and then I look at the bench and I'm thinking, okay, who in that bench potentially I look at every single name of that bench and I'm thinking, who are those names? Out of all those names, who would have made the first 11 ahead of whom? When you look at it, Foster, Austin, Tanganga, Sanchez, Sarr, Divine, Mundell, Danjuma, Richarlison. None of those guys at the moment. Bearing in mind, Richarlison has just come back again from yet another injury, and the other guys. I'll say that's probably the 11 that I would start with as well, because of the situation that we have on the bench. I wouldn't put any of those guys ahead of the goalkeeper. Maybe might feel a little bit. Sarr, we haven't seen him since Southampton, and he made that mistake to give that penalty away. It wasn't a penalty, but let's just say it was. Ultimately, it was a penalty. We haven't seen Sarr since. I'm talking about to start. Obviously, knowing what we know and given the game that Højbjerg had, Højbjerg wasn't his best game. Skips is slowly. Maybe for the next game, we should look to freshen it up a little bit. Perhaps starting Sarr. I agree with you on that base. But the initial thought when I saw the lineups before seeing the game, I would have probably started the same 11. I'll be honest with you. But then obviously post that, I will say, Kulizeski didn't have his best game. Højbjerg and Skip weren't his best game. And at the back, well, the joke continues with those guys there. So yeah, I would have probably started with that 11. Inevitably would have started with that 11.
Elias?
I think
do you feel?
I very much agree with what he says, that because with the current situation, that's the best possible starting 11 that you can say. I know there are a lot of people who are saying that, okay, you can like shift to a back four, mid three, and all that sort of nonsense. I don't think that with the current situation, the current set of players that we have fit, we can play any other formation or we can play any other lineup. That's the best possible starting lineup that you have, and I expected that. In all honesty, I did expect that. The only thing that maybe I was like expecting, because maybe might have happened, is like maybe Richarlison coming on for Kulu, some of those things. But like what Iggy said, I was not surprised that the bench was like that, because none of the players on the bench can actually replace the starting 11 at this point. Like they are just not good enough in my opinion. Maybe Richarlison is one of them, but we don't know how fit he is at the moment.
Just to answer a couple of things, Twan. This was I get what you're saying. Having watched the game, you can make points for those like players like Luis, who made a really good save in the match, and so forth. I'm talking about the initial reaction before the game started. We're judging the starting lineup. So I was saying that one could argue that Foster had done well in the previous game before Luis has come back. Obviously, Luis, we know is a great shot stopper. That isn't going to change. He has other faults, but obviously shot stopping isn't one of them. And Ishak, if I can't remember my working rota. If I'm not working this Saturday, I'll come down. I'm not coming down for the game, but I'll come down to see the boys and girls, whoever's there at the protests. So I will try and make it if my working rota is. I can't remember it now if I'm working or not, but if I'm not, I'll be down there.
Ryan, starting 11. Were you excited? Were you positive? Were you expecting a Spurs dominating victory with those 11 starting?
Buzzing, mate, buzzing. It was going to be like watching prime AC Milan under Ancelotti, wasn't it?
You really have that deep on that one, man.
Battered Brighton on and off the pitch. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but guys, I have to say though, does it not make up for some of the other games where perhaps we deserved more than we actually picked up?
One minute, one more second. I just want to know how you felt about the starting lineup. We haven't even got into the game.
Okay. Starting lineup.
Starting lineup, very, very predictable. I mean, you weren't going to change much, although it seems like Stellini has, he mentioned, playing the kids a little bit more, but he hasn't done so. So with him going to have most likely a one-game touchline ban because of what happened during the game, I know you don't want to talk about it. Maybe Ryan Mason might give the kids like Mundell and Devine a few more minutes. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, mate, the lineup, you expected that 11 start. We've got no squad depth at the moment. You've got Basuma out injured. Bentancur's probably going to be out till New Year's. The defence picks itself. Sessegnon's injured. Royale's injured. So there's nothing to change. Richarlison just came back. There's nothing to change. That's your fixed starting 11. We've got no choice. Like last season when it was a consistent starting 11, that was through choice. Here, we don't have a choice. These are the 11. These are your best 11. You've just got to play them.
I'll be honest with you guys. Until top four is up for grabs, I don't see much an experimental Tottenham side. I see this as a very much base of the players. Probably this 11. If we keep on having this squad available and we don't recover anyone else, I see the similar sort of 11. Maybe one or two changes here and there, but I see, when Davis becomes available, just to give you an idea, I see this 11 moving forward. I don't see experimental team with the youngsters coming in. But if top four is out of reach, maybe. But Levy is going to be in his era about playing his best team possible until whilst top four is still up for grabs.
Yeah, no, I have a question actually. From all of you guys, do you think that this kind of thing that have been happening now at Spurs, it will make things worse because teams would know that that's the lineup that we would always play, and in terms of tactics, also we don't have much that we can change. Do you think that it kind of give like that very predictable element of Tottenham, and then teams would be very much prepared with the very set tactics in terms of when they play against us?
Elias, there was this guy sitting next to me because there's four of us that we have season tickets together. The other three have given up completely, right? Completely given up. Bear in mind, they were all Pochettino out, and I had a massive row with them because I was Pochettino in when it happened. They're the ones that have bailed, and I'm the idiot there, right? You can see how it works at this club, right? I'm not taking digs at them; they're my friends. So, yeah, actually, I'm taking a little dig. I am.
Yeah, but it's
But
what
there's a
mates
guy
do, man. Mates can take the piss out of each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, if you heard what they call me, well, you can imagine. So there's this guy sitting next to me who is about 10 years older than me, but it turns out we played in the same league a long, long time ago. So we got kind of new mates of mates, and we started talking about football. We started talking about everything. And I said to him, do you know what the problem we've got here is? Any manager that we come up against knows what we're going to do. They know what they have to do because they've already, like you said, we're so predictable. We've given away our chess game, the manual. Like, there's the secret book. There's the lineup. There's the formation. This is how we play. There you go. You know. So you're right. I totally agree with you, Lice. I actually said this to the guy next to me.
Yeah, because if that's what's going forward, I think it's gonna be a problem when we play teams like Liverpool and when we play tacticians like Klopp or even the Newcastle manager. He's quite good.
There's a problem against Everton and Southampton.
Exactly.
It's
gonna be a problem. So if we want to get top four, it's not gonna help, really.
When you say stuff like that, it makes me stick my neck out the line saying we ain't losing at Anfield even more ridiculous.
I've got a bet with Ryan, a 3-piece chicken meal with chips and drink. That we're not going to be. I said we're losing at Anfield. He's like, no, we got this. I'm like, all right.
We ain't losing at Anfield. I promise you now. Leeds United went there and won. We ain't losing at Anfield.
Look, we're going to get onto Anfield. We're going to get onto Anfield because there was a big game there yesterday. Now, I don't want to discuss Liverpool because we still have to go away to them. But starting lineup, game kicks off. Spurs get off to a good start. In the first 10 minutes, absolute world-class strike from this man here. 100 goals, Tottenham Hotspur, Premier League. I think he's in the top 5 or top 6 top ever goal scorers at Spurs now. He's the Europeans' #1 goal-scoring Asian player. He's broken the record for that as well. Listen, this is a player who a lot of fans have turned on this season. A lot of fans have given shit. He's been subject to abuse and minor pockets of racism on Twitter and whatnot. Does this guy just deserve a freaking break, man? Is every player allowed to have a dip? Because I'm on the fence with Son. I'm on the fence with Son because I agree he hasn't had a good season. I agree. But the team hasn't. And I have to say, that strike yesterday, there's only 2 or 3 players at Tottenham that can score that. Kane and Kulusevski. I don't know any other player at Spurs that can score that goal. It was world class, man. So, Iggy, when you saw that peach curl into the top bins, what were you thinking? Were you thinking we've got to still sell him? Are you thinking he's got to stay? Are you thinking, do you know what? Let's see what happens under a different manager, or do we cash in on him like some fans? And it's a fair argument, right? I know Ryan has that argument, and obviously Ryan's going to say why. But is it a case of, do you know what, cash in on him now because he's on his way down, and use that money to rebuild? Like, where are you at with Sonny? Because what a goal, man. What a goal.
The thing is, guys, outside of Kane, who else scores for this team on a regular basis? Mate, okay, this season, I get that he's had his struggles. I get the team hasn't played well. The criticism, listen, the criticism, as long as it's based on what you see on the field, that's fine. Every player should be subjected to criticism and praise accordingly. But I think with Son, this season has gone a little bit beyond that. It's gone a little bit beyond, and you just touched upon it earlier on about the racial slurs and stuff like that. It's gone a little bit beyond his performances on the pitch. But then I look at it and I put a tweet out this morning asking a simple question. Can somebody name me another Tottenham winger, a Tottenham Hotspur winger that has scored the amount of goals that Sonny has? Someone responded me with Cliff Jones. Cliff Jones is like 75 years ago, man. So no disrespect to Cliff, man. He's a legend, man. But I'm talking about someone's had to dig out Cliff Jones from a player that played over 70 years ago, man. So there hasn't been another player in that time that has done what Son has done. Now, if you want to say to me, is it maybe time because, you know, he's lost a yard of pace, even though I believe he's playing in a different position this year as he was last season. Last season, he was out and out left winger. This season, he's played in as an attacking midfielder. So the roles are different, the movements are different, and the way you run it is completely different. And plus, the chemistry with Perisic hasn't been the best because you can see that when he plays with Ben Davies there, even Cess, Son plays different. So there's an arguable point there. But to suggest to get him out of the 11, to get him out of the team, sell him, when you don't have a player that's anywhere near that level in the squad, we're not even getting a player anywhere near moving forwards. We're not going to get a winger that can give you more than what Son is doing. Even this Son this season, you're not. So outside of Harry Kane, we've got Son, and that's it. It's just complete void because even Kulusevski's way off down there with performances and goals compared to what he was second half of last season. So you get rid of Son, you're getting rid of a lot of goals contribution, be it that he scores himself or he sets them up. I don't know where all this is coming from. It's not like we've got Ronaldo on the bench and we got Messi and we got all these guys thinking, you know what, unleash the Rafa Leaos of the situation because they're younger, hungry, and ready to go and get and take them. If you had that situation going on, then I'll say, do you know what? Cash in on Son now, whilst we still get some more, and then invest on the other. We're not going to invest. You cash in on Son now. You think that's going to go back on another next upcoming left winger that's going to bang you a load of goals? It ain't happening. So you have to carry on with Son and Kane if you can, in the hope, because that's what we go for, guys. In the hope that you get another young Son coming from Germany, or you know, a young Harry Kane coming from the academy. Mate, we years of getting players of that quality. But that's not to say that these guys are not subject to criticism. Of course they are, man. But criticize them for what their displays on the pitch. Nothing else, man. But that's my take on Son. And I will always start Son. Let's have it right here because I ain't having Richarlison. I ain't having people saying to me Richarlison and Danjuma, give them a chance. Fuck that, man. They're miles behind Son. They're nowhere near the level of Son. Yeah, you can play them here and there. I'm not saying these guys shouldn't play, but they're nowhere near. Even this season, the Son, they are nowhere near that level. You guys got to understand, Danjuma and Richarlison are nowhere near the level of Son and Kane. That's my take on it, man.
Yeah, I can completely agree. And there's this narrative going on around the community that Danjuma was a super sub, according to some people. I completely disagree with that particular one. And I completely, I would say that Son, he is best at what he does, and you just can't replace a player like him that easily. You are not gonna go and cash in on someone like, let's say, a top striker. I think easily he's one of the top 15 strikers in Europe right now, or even to a certain extent top 10, if you want to say. But to cash in on him, I don't think firstly Levy would do that, given how precious Son is for him to in the fan base. I don't think he's actually gonna go, and we are not gonna get a good replacement if we cash in on Son. So I think give him some time, and he is showing the vibes that he's actually getting back there. And the other thing that I wanted to say was that if Perisic played that sort of balls in that sort of areas to Son that actually he played in this game, he can actually do that. Because lately, what I don't like about Perisic is he goes in way too deep in the pitch to actually make those crosses. That doesn't work for Son. And this time, that particular ball that he gave to Son, I think that's a perfect area. Either Sonny can create from there, or either he can score from there. So Perisic should be doing that more often, in my opinion, because this assist actually came from Perisic for that Son goal. First time, I guess.
Right.
By the way, Bale was an amazing winger. I'm not suggesting. My question was, name me another winger that scored 100 goals for Spurs. That was my question. Bale didn't even get. Did he even get half of the amount? I think he got 50 odd goals. 50-ish. I don't think he got anywhere near 100. So that was my argument.
Goals for Tottenham, right?
100 Premier League goals.
Well, look, Iggy.
That's what I'm saying.
You're pro Sonny. Elias is pro Sonny. I'm glad that Ryan's on because Ryan's got a different view on it. So Ryan, what's your take on Sonny then? Because I know you want him to be sold.
I want him to be sold because I don't believe he will rediscover that level that he had last season. That's just my personal opinion. I've said it probably since about September, October time. Even I was the one banging on the drum to still put Son on the bench after his hat-trick at Leicester when we were going to the Emirates. I just feel that he is past his peak. This will be the Son we're going to be getting for the next 3 to 4 years, where he won't he's lost that yard of pace. He's lost, in my opinion, he doesn't press that much anymore. He's not as energetic. He will still obviously have, you don't lose quality. Quality is permanent. But it might not be as consistent over a course of a season that we might need, which is why in make-believe Tottenham Hotspur fantasy land, where we think if we sell Son, we will get a Leao or we will get a top-quality left winger to replace him, which we probably won't, most likely. But I just feel if we do keep Sonny, we won't see the numbers that we've seen for the past year or two, where he's been hitting 20, 25 across all comps. It'll probably be more like 5 to 15, 5 being his absolute worst, like he's having now. You know, at the start of the season, like we couldn't hit barn door, where maybe 15 in all comps might be, which is still a good return. But you got to remember his age, and he is, you know, he's not getting any younger. He's, you know, it might just be time to cash in. That's all I'm saying on it. I love Sonny to bits. I would love to be proved wrong. Absolutely would love it. I'd love him to come back next season and be chasing down the golden boot, scoring 20, 25 a season. But I just don't see it. And that's why I honestly believe cashing in might be the best option, just to also just look towards the future a bit more.
I have a question. If you sell Son, who do you think would come into our squad to replace him? Just a question. Like any youngster, any potential player, do you think?
The one I'd take straight away would be Leao from AC Milan. Sorry, Diggy. He would be the standout option. If you're looking Premier League wise, Harvey Barnes straight away leaps out at me. Homegrown, good quality. If we're going to bring James Maddison as well, you know, they've got the chemistry there. Harvey Barnes, young, hungry. He's added goals to his games lately. I know it's all about the money with Levy. He's going to be expensive being English. I personally think Harvey Barnes in the market, especially if Leicester go down, you've got to remember that. If Leicester go down, you could probably get Harvey Barnes in the region of about 30 million, 30, 35 million. But if Leicester do stay up, it might get closer towards 50. But you got to remember, I think in today's market, Heung-min Son, who's got 3 years left on his deal, he's still in his prime, you know, 30, 31.
30 years old, man.
Yeah.
He's 30.
Yeah, 30.
30.
So Ryan,
60,
as a Levy out fan,
yeah,
that you are, saying that we should consider selling Son to reinvest that money into the squad, do you trust the guy you want out to do the right thing and reinvest that money into a
he'll reinvest it badly. We know that. He will reinvest it badly.
So hold on. So if we know that, are we not better off just holding on to Son then?
We probably are, but then you've got the same situation where if you've got a declining Son, it's the same situation with Lloris we're going to end up in 2-3 years' time then, where, it's sentimental to keep him there. I don't want that sentimental side. We're still a football club. We've got to look to improving our team. And Son, if Son cut in 2-3 years' time, just is not cutting it, and he's scoring 3-4, are people then going to say, well, 5 years ago, Son was banging in 25 goals a season? We should keep playing.
What happens if Son goes on a run now to the end of the season?
Fantastic, because it's what's best for Spurs. But I'd still look to the future. You've got to look towards the future of improving this squad and improving this team for the best of Tottenham, because Son's not going to be around 10 years' time. It's just fact. You've still got to look for the next cab in the rank. Same goes with Harry Kane. And I'm not saying sell Harry Kane and Son at the same time. That would be suicide. But I think one has to go. And in my opinion, I think based on this season's performances, you'd have to go Son to go. That's just my opinion. I don't want him to go.
Would your opinion change if this summer Harry Kane doesn't sign a new contract and we've come to that point now where Harry Kane's leaving? Would you then keep Son if that was a situation this summer?
Can't answer that to the next manager, to the managers here.
Big statement right there. What he just said. The manager has to be signing number one, man, because without it, nothing makes sense. Make it make sense to have all this going on with no manager in place, players inbound and outbound. You can't even begin to discuss.
No, but I was still saying that we probably should have let Son go, because there was little paper talk last summer about a move to Real Madrid. It was like 70 million plus Asensio or something like that. Yeah. Which I said was a pretty good deal, and we probably should have taken it because Asensio's the deal would have worked out.
Why not keep Son, but improve the rest of the squad? That perhaps Son can move position. This is just because he might have lost a yard, like you rightly say, in as a winger. It doesn't mean that he's completely finished, and that because he can't play on the left wing, can't play anywhere else. He can. He's such a good player. You see him play for South Korea. He plays on various different positions there.
I
still think it could be very useful to our cause.
Yeah, Stel, I was actually going to ask you this because you're the coach here, and you said how
is he a coach?
He is a coach.
I always laugh when someone says that now.
I think we all feel the same, man.
Are younger. You said coaches, put them in 3 or 4 positions to work out their best positions, and then that's the main. The way
it works, Ryan. Just to clarify what you're saying, from the age of 6, 7 up to the age of 11, Spurs focus on 1v1 domination and ball manipulation, ball mastery, basically, and being able to take on a player. Then from the ages of 12 to, I'd say, 14, they play in 3 or 4 positions, while still doing all the stuff that they did before, all the ball manipulation, the skills. They just try and do it faster. They introduce a bit more passing into the game, because passing is an easy thing to teach. Taking on a player with skill is hard. Mm-hmm. Then from the ages of 15 to 16, they go down to about 2 positions. And then at 16, they do something called you become a master of one position, a specialist of one position. So at 16, they say, right, where do we think you're going to be best at? And what do you want? And that's when players like Kane become a striker. That's when Ledley King became a defender. That's when players like Harry Winks became a centre mid-stroke attacking mid.
Did he?
What the managers then do with them is different. That's what the club does. That's what the club does.
So saying what he's saying about Son could potentially move position to adequate, maybe his
Son wasn't in the Spurs academy.
Yep.
True.
So Son maybe moving and fixed him to a new.
Maybe I can explain the Asian system a little bit.
I'd say it's maybe different.
Well, he was developed in Germany, wasn't he? By Leverkusen.
Whereas
he was well
striker, and you're moving to like slightly deeper, like Rooney and Kane has started to do, just moving that slightly bit deeper. Would you say that's easier to do than rather moving someone that's been focused completely on the left wing, and because he's lost that yard of pace, he's no good out there, moving him into maybe a number 10, which is what he's saying that we should.
I personally think I think Percy's son should play in a front two, not a front three.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. With his pace.
And if one of the front two is like a false nine, which would be kind of what you said, then yeah.
I'd have him playing in the two, and that because Son's more mobile, he can be working the channels, have a focal point, and he can be working either channel ball because he's still quick, man. He might not be the quick that Son was 3-4 years ago, but he's still very quick for a player. So I definitely have him playing there, and he's always had an eye for goal, and that doesn't leave you. You see the goal he scored on the weekend. That doesn't leave you.
The quality of scoring goals won't leave him. But I'm saying
I don't understand why they can't. Why we cannot play Son and Kane together. I wish we have a manager next season that plays with two. I'm fed up of seeing this lone striker. I want to see two forwards playing together. We play 3-5-2. You can play any way you want. 4-3-2. Play any way you want, but just play with two. I honestly believe Kane and Son have got such a brilliant chemistry that with the characteristics that they have, they could really work together as a tandem up front. I don't see why we choose not to do that for a reason, for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know, man. But I would definitely have two up front, and those two would be my guys.
I agree. Like he has the pace, and Kane has that sort of like the capability to play those balls. It will work perfectly, in my opinion.
Well, look, whatever we think of Son this summer,
people are coming at me. People are coming at me in the comments with the winger statement. Cliff Jones, John Stokes, I agree, man. Cliff Jones was an absolute legend. Scored the amount of goals for a winger as he did 70 odd years ago, man. I'm not knocking him. He played in his time. There's nothing, but I'm talking about people are talking about getting rid of Son. Let's just get 100 goals in the Premier League for Tottenham. I don't know another winger that's hit 100 goals in the Premier League. Yes, football existed before the Premier League started. I get that, and I'm not knocking it for it. But and Bale was a great player. I'm not knocking Bale. Bale was one of my favourites. And we've had Ginola. We've had so many great wingers. 100 goals, man. 100 Premier League goals. 100 Premier League.
Do you know what?
Goals.
Will Stewart.
In 260 games. That's not
Will Stewart
for a winger.
Will Stewart made a good point on the post-match show that he did, right? He said that a number of fans have been a bit disappointed with Son this season because he hasn't hit the heights of last year. But last year wasn't normal for Son. That was way above his average. On average, Son scores between 10 to 14 goals a season, right? That's what Son does. But last year, it was like, pow, 23, 24. So because he had this amazing season last year, a lot of fans I'm not saying this is the case, but he was just putting it out there. He was saying that we're judging him on the 1 year where he blew it out of the water.
Yeah, he won.
Whereas when you
you're right, he's not.
Yeah, but when you compare him to his average, he's kind of not doing too badly. So, but I think the issue with Son this season that fans have got is two. One, it's just been a shit year, full stop. And whenever there's a shit year, how much more can you blame Chicken Royale and Dyer? We know they're shit. They're always going to be shit, okay? So you go after your good players. So when Romero gets sent off, this fucking guy's not world-class. When Son isn't kind of maybe doing what we expect from Son on the eye, he's fallen off a cliff. It's like we just go after people. We just go after them. And I just think it's a bit of a scapegoat situation this season, which is why, look, I think Iggy hit the nail on the head for me. The new manager that comes in has got to make the decisions, right? He's got to make the decisions. But if we're looking to sign Maddison now, and we're looking to sign Stopgap, and we're looking to sign Long Gap before the new managers come in, whether Maddison is quality or not, surely the manager that comes in should have the say on that, because it might not quite fit what he wants to do. So for me, it's a case of, I think fans have been a bit too much, but I do agree with Ryan though. I do agree with Ryan though, where he says if we are going to go on this project and it's going to take, let's say, 3-4 years, what's Sun going to be like in 3-4 years? Maybe, you've got to cash in on your better assets to fund the project. If the rewards of the project are going to be in 4 years' time, if the rewards of the project are in 1 or 2 years' time, then you keep them.
Yeah.
But I don't know any project that takes 1 or 2 years. Normally they're 3-4 years, aren't they? So it's a difficult one.
I'll say is the next manager for me has to play three in midfield. Out of everything, they have to either play a holding midfielder with two in front of them, like they do at Liverpool. They have Fabinho, and then it has.
Have we got 3 midfielders, Ryan? Have we got 3 fit midfielders?
We need to bring them in. We need to bring them in.
If they're looking to Maddison's or the 2 and 1 with Maddison in front, where you can have Bentancur, because let's not forget, Bissouma will be fit come the start of next season, fingers crossed. And Bentancur is going to be back October, November time, most at the earliest. And those two, I think, if they have a Maddison in front of them, I think that is a very, very good front three, middle three that we could work with.
You see this, look, 6 seasons, he scored 18 goals or above. And in the 1 season, that is it, 6-7 goals. We're talking about getting rid of him. So we are, as a fan, we're unforgivable. We're
his
unforgivable.
Record in all comps across the 7-8 seasons has been at Spurs.
Oh, that's a proper research on that one, man.
Elias is good with the with the old analysis, the data research.
For me, Son
is
like a 14-15 goal a season player. I think for a winger that hits double figures as
I tell you what, Ryan Giggs, one of the best footballers the Premier League has seen. It took him 18 years at Man United at that lot.
Yes, but back then wingers weren't
Premier League goals.
Wingers weren't forwards back then. Okay, when you played 4-4-2, it was always a flat midfield four.
No, but Son's only been a striker since Mourinho come.
No.
Before then, even played wide.
Even with Poch, though, when we played the 4-2-3-1, the wingers are still further forward and much more prominent, and they're almost like inverted forwards. So I'm not having that. Back then, when the old Premier League days, mid 2000s, 90s, when you played the standard 4-4-2, yes, the wingers got up the pitch, but they didn't start high. They were it was like a.
But they played. But you're talking the numbers and the way they're set up. But they were a very attacking-minded team, man. They literally had Scholes and Roy Keane in midfield doing everything with Beckham.
And they had one rival, Arsenal. That was it.
But
now
also,
you've got the Chelseas, the Cities, you've got the Liverpool. Get back. Well,
you have to look at every team. Every team.
1 second, I'll come to you.
You have partnerships. Ryan had the left back. It was Dennis Irwin for a long time. Then you had Evra. He had loads, and man, we're talking proper players here. Beckham had Gary Neville. You had the 2 centre backs, unbelievable, with a keeper, immense. Forwards, Dwight York and
Schmeichel, Rio, Vidic, Scholes.
You're talking. They were covered in every part of the pitch, man. All you had to do was do your job. Here at Spurs, he's got to do his own job. He's got to help the geezer out of the back because he's fucking pony. He's got to do all this stuff, and you just can't. My thing is this, okay? I agree with you when you say at some point or another, we have to start looking beyond Kane and Son. Inevitably, the years, we all get older.
It's coming to that point, though, soon, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's closing in.
That part of the conversation, I totally and utterly get it. Where we have failed, Ryan, is not improving the weaknesses of the team, bringing up the quality. So when we are ready to let them go,
that's the manager's fault. No, that's the manager's fault.
But we are ready.
I blame all the managers, mate. I blame all the managers.
We've got another lot of players ready to come through to take over. We let these guys go now. You look behind you, man. You got nothing. You got nothing. Who have you got, man? You say we're talking about getting rid of these guys for who? Because I'm seeing empty space. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm thinking I'd get rid of Kane. I wouldn't even get rid of Kane even if he's 40 years old right now, or Son for the matter.
We won't have a choice about a year and a half.
We'd be relegation battle if we had those 2 players. We'll do
Exactly.
relegation battle.
Listen, I need to move it. I need to move on from Sun because that's
Yeah,
only
let's
10
move
minutes
on.
into the game, and there's another 80 minutes
Yeah.
to
It's all right,
discuss,
it's all
right? So,
So Elias had stats for us, man. You asked for stats earlier.
go on,
on.
Yeah,
Elias.
so
Hit the stats.
it took
Hit us
took
with the
Cliff
stats.
Jones 9 years to score his 100 goals in the Premier League. Yeah, as a Tottenham player. So he started playing Premier League back then in 1952, and he scored his 100th goal in his 10th season in 1961.
So he scored his
I think
100th goal in the title-winning season. So you know what that means? We're going
Yeah,
on a 9-game winning run in Arsenal.
Oh, don't start. No, Ryan, stop.
Stop.
This is
That's
classic
deluded.
Ryan. This is
Before anyone flips it, I'm joking.
well, he
So
started
what?
with Swansea.
So Poch is coming back for unfinished business, and he's going to do it next year, right? He's going to finish off the.
By the way, guys, you guys were at the game. I wasn't at the game. I've heard so many contrasting reports, as in some people heard Mauricio Pochettino's magic, Other people saying they didn't hear Levy out. Other people saying I heard Levy out.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're stuck at 10 minutes into the game still. It's taken us 1 hour. 1 hour. We've done 10 minutes.
I want to hear from you lot. You lot were at the game. I want to hear from you guys.
Right. So we scored the goal. Spurs are on the up. And then about 5-10 minutes after we scored, Brighton took over the game. They were passing it around us. We're on the back foot. We couldn't get out of our half. They scored a goal, which VAR intervened, and it was handball. And by the way, this was the beginning of VAR, right? VAR, it was controversial to say the least. They hit the post. Then they hit the post from a long-range effort. The goal was coming, disallowed goals, hitting the post. There's a lot of tackles going in that the referee let slip. They were putting quite a few on us, and the referee just wasn't quite on it. We put 1 or 2 on them as well, but they were playing more dirty than we were. But Brighton were in control. There's no doubt. I looked at my app, and as by the end of the half, they had 60% possession. We had 40. So you could tell they had more of the ball. And then they got a corner. Back post. The one guy you need to mark. Dunk. Free header. All the time in the world. Bang. Goal. And it was just, here we go again. And then we just saw out the half. We went to half time. Now, why on earth at 1-0 up did we just give up possession? Because we were on the front foot for the first 10-15. Why do we give up possession? Why do we go deep? People blamed Conte. Conte's not there anymore, right? Mason, Stellini, it's the same shit. And I got to say, passing from the back, it was like Everton again. We couldn't pass from the back. Dyer's giving away passes to the strikers. Lloris doesn't know who he's passing to. We're playing out from the back. We literally look like kids learning how to walk. It's like a 6-year-old kid, and you just say, "Go on, let's see if they can walk," and they fall flat on their face and they cry. They get up, they go again. That's what it's like watching Tottenham. What is going on at Spurs? How is it? It was so bad. It was so bad that Stellini walked up to the touchline, had a go at the players and the goalie, and said, "No, you're not playing it short from the goal kick. Go long." And he forced everyone to move up the pitch. He overruled what they were going to do. Listen, it was a shit show. Brighton deserved to be at 1-1. No question of a doubt. What did you make of it, guys? What did you think of it? Because for me, I was just waiting for us to lose after that. I did not see a Spurs win going into half-time.
The fans also was getting on the players' backs from the goal kick, telling them to go long. And there were ironic cheers when about 2 or 3 times just shortly afterwards when Hugo booted it long from the goal kick. So, yeah, I don't think it was just Stellini that forced them into that. It was also the fans telling them to boot it long.
Yeah, but Brian, we're talking about simple passes. We're talking about that there were moments where Dyer's looking at a player and he misplaces the pass, or we just whack it long straight to their goalie, or we've got the ball out wide, just release that player. And then misplace the pass, or the first touch was poor. But both wing backs for me were not good in this game. Both wing backs were not
Yeah, I
good.
agree.
Porro
Very
and Perisic
quiet. Porro was very quiet.
didn't offer anything at the back other than Romero. You shat yourself when the others. Actually, Longley wasn't too bad. Actually, I'm not going to be harsh on Longley. Longley, at least his passing was,
Dyer was,
decent.
I think he was the best passer.
Dyer was the Dyer that we all know. Just shouldn't. He doesn't belong at Tottenham.
How
He
does he make
shouldn't be
the
given a shirt.
Do you remember when we were all saying, how does Dyer not make the England squad? And now we're saying,
Not
how
me.
does Dyer make the
Not me.
England squad?
Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. I mean, we got schooled by De Zerbi football. We got absolutely schooled. And what I said on the Friday show was, when I watch Brighton play, they play short, quick passes to feet. They zip the ball on the ground. Even their goalie was drilling it down the middle. They play these really quick balls on the ground with pace. And they pass to players that are under pressure, but they're happy to receive the ball under pressure, because then when they lay it off, they've pulled someone out of position. It's what Barca used to do. And Brighton, for the 30 minutes of the first half, mate, we got played off the park.
Listen, I agree. I agree with you. I agree totally. Absolutely. Listen, you had a couple of the goals that that got ruled out. You had the penalty that could have any other game might have been given. Listen, we've got the breaks. We've got the breaks.
That was the second half, Iggy. That was the second half.
No, but the first goal that got ruled out was in the first half. They hit the post as well in the first half as well.
Yeah, they were first half.
So then we got situations went our way, man. I've forgotten the last time when a game like that happened. I've forgotten where we had that kind of luck. So every now and again, it can't always go against you, man. It has to sometimes. But VAR has been a shit show all season, not just with us in this game. It's been like that all season. So you know what? Just yeah, we're still there. We're still alive. We're still alive.
Yeah. It's kind of. Yeah, so you asked me the question first, I think. Better.
Oh, by the way, big up to Ryan Busy for becoming a member on the channel. Thank you so much, brother. Will Stewart, 365. Yeah, what did you make of that last half an hour? Like, you're at home watching it on TV. What were you thinking when you're just seeing a team come to White Hart Lane and absolutely dominate?
I think Brighton, they could have done better. I've seen them play better football than the way they played on Saturday. Like their football was not like amazing. The way they play, I think they can do really better. And I think in terms of us, we were usual Tottenham Hotspur. I think one thing that really costed them was that they didn't step up that much. And I don't know whether De Zerbi going off, did it really affect that command that he had on the pitch for the players? Did that affect? I don't know about that.
That was a turning point for me. I said this as well on match day. The sending off, and it worked against them more than it does. Just to back up your point. Yeah.
So I think that proved kind of like in our favor, in my opinion, because we still had Ryan Mason to a certain extent. I think the difference, I don't know, there's not much difference, I think, between Stellini and Mason in terms of their influence on the pitch. So I think it really affected them. The other thing that I liked was I noticed that in the second half we were playing quite a lot of long balls towards the forwards and towards the wingers. That really made a big difference. Like you could see Kane was making a run very often. You could see Kulu making runs very often. That was a good thing to see. And I think I want to back up one other point that you made. Langley looked very good in terms of his passing accuracy with the long balls that he was playing. Like really, he was the long balls there. So I don't. But
a lot of those long passes went to nobody though as well, Elias. It was literally every time one of those balls got hit, the whole stadium. What you would hear was, like, what are we doing? No, let's get into the second half. We've come out the second half, and it was pretty much more the same, right?
Yeah.
We were creating a little bit more. I'm not going to say that Brighton created loads and loads of chances, because they didn't. Brighton didn't create loads and loads of chances. A lot of their shots were from distance or half shots. Half chances, but they then had a shot. Welbeck. McAllister did well. Then Welbeck hit a really good shot and it went in at 2-1 to Brighton. Now, you could feel the mood in the stadium change because it's almost like we knew this was coming. And then VAR intervened yet again. Up it popped and it disallowed the goal. Now, for me, I couldn't believe it got disallowed. I thought it was a shocking decision because as the ball got shot, McAllister had his arms in like this and it's deflected and gone in. I'm thinking, that's not handball, man. But what I didn't know, and Will and Iggy pointed it out afterwards, was there's a rule change. And it was actually the correct decision. So I want to bring up the rule.
Of your arm. If it leads to a goal, leads to a direct goal, it has to be disallowed.
Correct.
I tried telling him, but he weren't having it.
Well, no, I wanted to read the rule for myself, which I did, and then I was man enough to change my opinion, Iggy. Yeah. So look, there it is. Look,
I'm not sure if it leads to a goal, but if it directly goes in off the arm, it has to be ruled out, even if it's accidental.
It says directly from the hand, arm, this bit here, even if accidental, then it has to be ruled out as handball. And that's the key bit. So listen, the rule wasn't like that before. They changed it this year. These are the rules for 22, 23 from IFAB. So it was the correct decision. So in the first two cases, VAR was bang on the money. So we can't say, oh, VAR, it gave them the game, it gave us the game, and we're unlucky. No, VAR did a good job. However, where we got into an argument again was on the penalty kick. Now, Will and I think one other person were arguing that it was accidental. He stamped after the moment happened, and I said no, it's a foul because on the ruling for fouls, and I'll go to it. I'll bring that up as well so everyone at home can see. Free kicks. Here we go. So I'll bring it up on the screen, guys. So on the ruling, it says that was this the rule? I've got the wrong rule. Okay, I can't find the rule. I'm not going to waste everyone's time just trying to find it. I should have set it up before. My apologies. But it says if it's careless or reckless when trying to tackle or going into a challenge, it's a foul. Now, if you don't get the ball and you stamp on someone's foot, that is careless. It's a careless action. So it should have been a penalty. We were arguing about it, shouldn't it or shouldn't it? But then what later happened was an apology was put out. The Premier League admitting a mistake was made by the match officials and VAR when not awarding a penalty to Brighton in Saturday's game against Tottenham. So this then created controversy online. People saying Tottenham, you're lucky. Brighton were robbed. And in all fairness, guys, if I'm going to be honest with you both, if you look at the stats of the game as a whole, look at those possession stats, and we're the home team. Shots on target, they had more. They had more shots than us, more touches on the ball, almost double the amount of passes. They put in more tackles than us. We made double the amount of clearances. That meant we were on the back foot. But when you just look at the stats of the game, right, we've discussed what we saw. But when you combine it with the stats, Brighton never deserved to lose. They were the better team, and VAR did rob them of that penalty. Now, whether they would have scored the penalty, that's up for debate. The disallowed goals, that was correct. VAR got it wrong. But that penalty decision, that was wrong. What did you make of all of this? Because in the game, it felt like Brighton were robbed because of VAR and because they outplayed us. But after the game, when we get to look at all the information and all the analysis, VAR got it right. The penalty decision, however, was wrong. But that doesn't mean it's a goal. That means they've got basically an opportunity to equalise. But on the balance of play, I think we were massively lucky. I'll take that. I'm a Spurs fan. I want to win. I'll take that. The amount of times we've been robbed. And as someone rightly brought up on Twitter, the Sissoko handball, in the Champions League final, right? So it swings in roundabouts. Right, Ryan, you were there. You were there at the game. Do you think we deserved anything out of the game? Do you think Brighton were robbed?
Lucky 100%. I think Brighton definitely didn't deserve to lose. They definitely controlled the game, but as you said, didn't really create any clear-cut chances. The only real chance I remember them having was the dunk header, and that's come from a set piece. So we nullified them rather well, but on the balance of play, Brighton didn't deserve to lose the game. I think a draw would have been a fair result on the balance of what people may have been watching rather than what the stats are telling you. So that's one of those things where you follow stats or do you follow with your eyes? We didn't deserve to win. Brighton didn't lose. Yeah, a bit of both. But if you watch it as a whole, Brighton definitely didn't deserve to lose the game. It wasn't just one penalty there. They could have had 3. I remember an incident in the first half, Longley handled when Brighton got a corner early on that wasn't checked, I don't think. He stuck out his arm, trying to shield the player, and the ball came off his arm, and the Brighton players went crazy. And then, of course, after the Højbjerg foul, when Brighton had a free kick, Longley pulls Dunk back. I mean, blatantly pulls back 2 hands. Right, yeah. And that, for me, was a stone wall penalty. I mean, we always... Those ones just never, ever, ever get given. So it's like... Yep. It's just one of them. You see the odd one given, and you're like, okay, it's changing now. But it's almost like refs give that one for the shirt pull just to like shut everyone up, and everyone thinks, yeah, refs are going to clamp down on it now. But they never do. They never do. I don't know why, because a shirt pull, blatantly 2 hands like that pulling. I mean, it wasn't like he's yanked, but he's grabbed his shirt, pulled him back, and let go. It is a foul. It is, and that probably as well should have been another penalty. So we got extremely lucky to avoid giving away not just 1, but potentially 3 penalties.
Well, we have been quite lucky with the shirt and hair pulling this season.
So, Elias, I found the rule. So I just want to say here, a direct free kick is awarded if a player commits any of the following offences against an opponent in a manner considered by the referee to be, this is the bit, careless, reckless, or excessive force. So careless. If you've missed the ball, and you stamped on another player, it's careless. And it applies to this bit here, tackles or challenges. So it was careless in a tackle or challenge. So I hope that kind of clarifies why it was a penalty. Elias, sorry to interrupt you there.
No, I was just, and now I forgot what I was saying. It's okay, can move on.
We were talking about, Ryan was saying how there should have been 3 penalties, not just 1. We're lucky there wasn't 3.
Yeah, I think there were 2 penalties. One was definitely that Højbjerg one, and then the other one is that shirt pulling, that incident. I was basically saying this season, shirt pulling and hair pulling and all that, not just with us. Overall, VR has been pretty lenient with other teams as well. The shirt pulling incident, I've hardly seen a penalty given on that. It has happened quite often in Premier League this season. I don't know if the rest of the panel agrees with me. This season, they've been pretty lenient on that particular case.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Iggy, what did you make of the decisions? So we know after looking at the rules of the game that the disallowed goals were correctly disallowed, but the penalty decisions, Iggy. Did we catch life? And did Brighton deserve the win, or at least a draw?
I said when we spoke at the weekend, I thought that the one. I hate what the guys are saying, the one on Dunk and stuff like that. And but for me, the one Højbjerg on Mitoma, I can never remember the guy's name, but the one where he stamped on, he caught
Mitoma.
Mitoma. For me, look, we have to be sporting and say it was a penalty, man. It was how they got that wrong. I don't know. So on that aspect of things, I completely agree. It was a penalty, and like I said, the VAR has been a shit show. I don't know how the referee doesn't spot that, and I don't know. So I get why the Brighton fans were disheartened by that decision.
Yeah.
However, I say it again. We've been at the end of some decisions this year more than the ones in favour. For once, it went for us than against us, And whilst
the Chelsea game was another one. The Chelsea game, you remember, at the beginning of the season.
We understand the feeling of the Brighton fans because we've been at that end as well, so we get it. But we have to say that we haven't had a lot of how many other games outside of Brighton can we say this season we've had these kind of decisions where they're so evident that have come our way. Not many, so I'm going to take it and run.
Michael, thanks for jumping on. So, controversy all over this game. We're trying to break it all down and decide whether or not Spurs deserve the win. But there was another piece of controversy. Out of nowhere, it absolutely kicked off on the touchline. Loads of pushing and shoving. De Zerbi looked like he'd just wound everyone up. The coaches all went for each other. A few players were involved. A couple of security guys ran down the tunnel. 1 or 2 stewards were over there trying to split it up. Stellini, however, he stood as far away as possible, watched the game, didn't even look at what's going on there. Like people punching and pushing. Stellini's like, and the referee comes over. First thing he does, sends off De Zerbi. I'm sure De Zerbi deserved it. He did something. But Stellini, he gets a red card as well. And after 2 disallowed goals, penalties not given, Brighton out playing Tottenham, Spurs, it's still 1-1 at this stage. Mason's in charge. Michael, what the hell is going on at this club, man? What is going on?
First thing I want to say is that I don't agree with Scott often, the Scott M, but I think this time I'm in complete agreement with him. I think we got absolutely skull-fucked by Brighton, and for me it's a joke that we won that game. It's an absolute joke that we won that game. I'm serious, and I'm cheering for my team always, right? I am happy when decisions go our way, but I think what I witnessed on Saturday was a joke. Seriously, guys, because I've been watching, right? I understand why both handball decisions were correct, right? But the Mitoma one I'm fine with, but the McAllister one, for me, it was harsh as fuck. I understand why it was ruled out. I agree with it, okay? But if it happened to our player, I would have been absolutely livid, because the guy, it wasn't even it was part of his body, right? For me, it's a really strange.
That's the new rule, though, Michael. That's the rule. That is the rule.
Yeah, but because the way I look at it is, if the defender has the hand on him, right, and it strikes his hand, well, the ball strikes his hand, or part of the arm, right, but the arm is on your body, then it's not counted as a handball, right? So for me, it's strange that it's counted.
But it hit the elbow.
Yeah.
Listen, I think Michael, I think what you're saying is you really hate the rule. And I'm the same.
Yeah.
You hate the rule, not the decision.
I don't
it's the
like
rule
it.
that we hate.
It's stupid for me, because he tried his hardest to get away from the ball and to tuck his hands in, so he's not spreading his body wider, right? So, but listen, let's leave it at that. I personally think we should have lost that game. We deserve to lose that game, in my opinion. I know many fans maybe will not agree with me and say we deserve the draw, but for me, Brighton absolutely were the better team on the day, right? But in terms of the whole Stellini and the Zerbi situation, it was such a bizarre thing to happen. I also think one thing we need to take into consideration is that what we saw, because maybe someone who was at the stadium can shed more light on it, right? But from what I saw on TV, it was as you described there, right? The Stellini was standing far away from the whole situation that occurred, but we don't know what happened before that. And I think I saw the assistant referee walk up to the main referee and tell him something. So maybe he told him that whether the main referee wasn't looking, that they were, going at each other or something, right? But the whole situation, from what we saw on TV, looked absolutely bizarre. As you said, Stellini was 5 meters away from the whole, fight, and he gets red carded. And his face expression was hilarious. And also they showed both of them walking into the tunnel, covered with security and still going at each other. It was an absolutely amazing,
I think the guys both got sent off. Stellini got sent off because he failed to control his staff. I think he takes.
Yeah, maybe
he takes the fall. The manager takes the fall for not controlling his staff behind him.
But also, one thing I want to add, because as you correctly pointed out, Stel, right? It was 1-1 when the situation happened, right? I'm kind of in the belief that if De Zerbi was there for a full duration of a match, that he would have had more impact on how Brighton played, and maybe he would have made like more brave changes. Whereas I think his staff kind of went with like a kind of a damage limitation mode, in my opinion, and that's why they lost. Because after he got sent off, they didn't really like. Brighton kind of backed off and allowed us to score the second goal. That was my feeling. Yeah, that was my feeling. So I actually think, ironically, that helped us. That whole situation helped us, right?
Yeah.
Iggy, you said on Will Stewart 365 when we did the post-match show, you actually said you felt, and I know you said on Bob Spur as well, on TV, you said that the sending off of the managers, it hurt them more losing De Zerbi than what it hurt us losing Stellini. Why did you say that?
The difference is there. I think it's because where you got Stellini and Ryan Mason working together as a unit. They both know what the plan is. So if one of them is not there, the other one is going to know really well what the plan is. I think with De Zerbi, I think his influence on a touchline for the team is massive. You can't underestimate it. When he's not there, I don't think the staff. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable and they're not, but they don't have what he's what he brings to that team. And you noticed it. I mean, you said that you felt that they're tired after the hour, after 60, 70 minutes.
Brighton looked tired from the 70th minute.
Which I find incredible, given a situation and stuff like that. But regarding, I think Mason dealt with Stellini being sent off really well. But listen, he's been around. People take. I don't know, man. If we undervalue this guy, I'm not saying he's Pep Guardiola, but I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute. But I think people are undervaluing Brian Mason. He knows his stuff, man. If he's there, he knows his stuff. So I think we just handled that a lot better than what we did, and maybe it was all part of the plan, because that kicked off with Stellini and De Zerbi. That kicked off from the handshake as soon as the game started.
Yeah,
something was already there, and it kind of just kept going the whole way through. If you notice, when the handshake happened, it wasn't just them two. There was people around them. So they thought maybe it was going to kick off from the handshake. So it was something there. So maybe we prepared it that if in the eventuality they kicked off, we was probably more prepared for it than they were if the managers were sent off. So listen, sometimes like I said, guys, sometimes it just goes for you. And I think after the Everton and after Southampton, we needed something like this to go for us. That's not to say that we're going to get away with this more regularly. I think in this particular game, I had zero expectations for it, given the other two results. So to come away with a win, now we've got Bournemouth, and don't get me wrong, we are more than capable of fucking it all up against Bournemouth. I know that as well. So
much more than capable.
Yeah. So we have to.
Before Bournemouth, right? There was even more to this game, right? Before we get on to there was even more to this game. So we had the peaceful protest before the game, good engagement, coverage from Ali Gold as well. We had Sonny breaking the record 100 goals. Let me just bring in Will Stewart. Big up to Will. Sonny scoring 100 goals. We had Tottenham 1-0 up, Brighton dominating, VAR 1-1 second half. Penalty decisions being apologised for afterwards, the managers having a fight. You're thinking, is there anything else you want to throw at us? And then, literally, as the fight is breaking out around the whole stadium, he's magic, Mauricio Pochettino. Wait, and then that goes into a chorus of, we want Levy out. We want Levy out. And I'm like,
everyone reported Maurizio Pochettino's song.
Not everyone.
not everyone reported the Levy Out song. Some did.
I think there were quite a
Chris
few.
Howlin actually reported both. So big up
Yep,
Chris Howlin.
he did.
He did.
Well, I don't want to big up him.
Nah. But you guys get
You
blocked me
Ryan
on
can.
Twitter.
Ryan can. Ryan, you're allowed, but I'm not. But no, I tell you why. Because Chris Cowlin, Graham, who goes to the protests, he speaks to Chris Cowlin at away games. They know each other. And when we were taking down the banners and Graham was taking them to put them away, Chris Cowlin walked past, saw Graham and dropped his head. Too embarrassed to say hello. He's getting, no, sorry, that is not cool, man. You don't. I don't get it. Look, whatever. The point is, we had a rendition of He's Magic, You Know, into a chorus of Levy Out. And then, as we're doing the Levy Out, and I'm thinking, right, come on, the whole stadium, let's all do it. What did Tottenham go and do? A beautiful counter-attacking move, lovely passing, out of nowhere. We pull a brilliant move out of our arse. Højbjerg squares it back. Bang, 2-1. Everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, no. Not now. Wait 2 minutes, man. Just wait 2 minutes. And then that was it. And I couldn't believe I was getting angry that we scored.
Levy Out, people.
The timing was terrible.
Still, maybe
the players want Levy Out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe one thing we didn't consider is that players are Levy.
Michael, the South Stand erupted when Kane scored. The South Stand, it was loud. The cheer for it. And then the game just kind of became. We sat back. They put pressure on us. On came Danjuma, the player that everyone wants. He did nothing. I'm sure Ryan's going to want to talk about Danjuma. But on comes Tanganga. On comes Pape Sarr. So you're feeling the worst now. You're expecting it to be 2-2. But look, we held on. We won the game. But what did you make of the chanting, the different types of chanting, the goal we scored? We won the game. I mean, it's just a shit show of a club right now. You can't make sense of it.
Yeah, the timing was absolutely perfect, like as you've described it. But it was hilarious watching it, like seriously, because it was. Like you could actually hear the chants, right? And I was pumped for you guys. Like me here sitting watching the TV. I was really happy that it's actually like the audio is there, right? And as soon as it happened, boom, we scored a goal, and everyone is happy. Everyone forgets what we are all here doing, right? It's just ooh, we are winning against Brighton. Wow, yeah, and we won against Brighton. Shh, nothing else, right? no Levy Out singing until the end of the match. So
I was screaming 2-1 and saying we're winning 2-1, but still Levy Out. I think it's even more important. Even when we're winning, to get the voice heard, just to prove that it's not just a reactionary response when we're losing or drawing against the lesser side. Even when we're winning against whoever, the message should still be the same: Levy Out.
Yeah. But I also have to ask you boys, because Levy Out chants are one thing, right? But what do you make of the Pochettino chants? Because I love the guy. Like I would love him back if it happened to be him, right? If we happen to appoint Pochettino, I'm not really against it, right? But when I heard the Pochettino chant during the game, the chant for a manager that's not here, our manager just got sent off. I know it's a caretaker manager, right? But I don't want to say I felt embarrassed, but it was. I don't know. It was just. I also don't want to use the word pathetic, but I think I have to. Not pathetic, Michael. Not in the sense that it's just sad for me that we have to cheer for a manager that's no longer here. He's not here for 4 years, right? And we are chanting his name right now. It doesn't.
Michael, when I was chanting Levy Out, there's a person that sits behind me, right? She doesn't like my opinion on Levy, right? And she shouts, "Oh, that's inspirational. Get behind your manager." And I turned around to her and I said 2 things. The first thing I said was, you were chanting Conte out 2 weeks ago. And now you're chanting Pochettino. Get behind your manager. What are you talking about? And it beggars belief, man. I think they're chanting Pochettino because, and by the way, all them fans chanting it, the same fans that booed him on his last 3-4 games before he got sacked. Yeah. So the hypocrisy is massive, but I just think this fan base is confused, and it shows. How can you go into a chant of Pochettino, his magic, into it's like a DJ mix into Levy out? How can you? I don't get it. I didn't get it. I mean, Ryan, you were there.
Maybe the melody is nice.
I've now gone into the belief that they're the ones that don't want to bring to sing Levy out. Their version of Levy out is singing Pochettino's name. They're almost blaming him for sacking him. That's the way I kind of see it for a lot of them. A lot of them might just be they want Poch back, but I think some of them they don't want to sing Levy out because it's a bit too negative. So they're singing Pochettino, his magic, in a way of blaming Levy for.
That's a weird way to get the message across the right thing, I would say. Yeah.
Well,
isn't that a get out of jail card though as well for Levy? Isn't that giving him a get out of jail card if he brings Poch back now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because all the because they're unhappy because Poch ain't back. Poch wasn't back. Poch was sacked, and they want him back. So obviously, who done that? It's Levy. That's the way I see it. So they don't want to call Levy out because of the stadium they built for them and everything like that. The amazing training grounds and Harry Kane being the all-time record goal scorer, Sonny scoring 100 goals, and all this. But they are blaming him in their own way. That's the way I see it.
Well, I need to ask you a question, right? Because you're good at analysis.
Yeah.
So I was online, right? I was online, and I came across this, and someone and I got tagged into it, right? I don't know why it's being spread that Levy out chants filled the stadium yesterday. Yeah, there was a couple, but it was just the kids and meatheads. The kids and the meatheads singing it. The majority of fans who have followed the club for the last 20 years, who know what a positive impact he's had, seemed baffled, myself included. Wanting Levy out is ludicrous, in my opinion. Wanting rid of ENIC makes some sense to me, but Levy, absolutely not. This sub has fans from all over the world and at different stages of their Spurs journey. While that's incredible in so many ways, there is a danger of their opinions on the club clouding what's truly best for us with limited context and information. And I feel this should be acknowledged. It's too easy for the internet hype train to produce something harmful that comes to fruition. And he says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But the bit at the top where he says, it was just the kids and meatheads, just a couple of people. Sky Sports commentary. There were Levy out chants resounding around the stadium. So who's the liar? Sky Sports or the guy saying that a bunch of kids in the corner were singing the song? Like, Will, what is going on with the fan base? Why would you, when you can hear it on TV, you got fans who went there like Ryan and I who are telling you what happened. Sky Sports who are telling us, yes, it did happen. It was loud. What is this guy trying to do, Will?
He's obviously he's obviously got cognitive dissonance there with that, right? He heard the chants, everybody heard the chants, but he doesn't want to believe that that's the case. So they deny reality, and in fact, it's the other way around. ENIC could stay, Levy needs to go, right? Like he's the one who's making the decisions. He's the chairman. It's not ENIC. ENIC is the company that owns the shares in Tottenham Hotspur, right? He's the one who's responsible for all of the failures over the past 20 years, right? He's responsible for the Paratici debacle. He's responsible for the amount of managers we have. He's responsible ultimately for all the players that we signed and haven't signed. There's no one else who is responsible. Joe Lewis isn't responsible. So, yeah, it's simply people who have no critical thinking skills whatsoever are just, spurting out with their emotions and think that that's the truth, and it's obviously not, right? So you can't help stupid. So
You can't.
Yeah,
help
also-
stupid.
Also, it's a comment from Reddit, right? And Reddit is majorly like Levy in. It's hard to find a Levy out person on Reddit, and you get slammed for being Levy out on our subreddit. So yeah, trust me, I felt it because I'm Levy out and I'm like commenting there, and it's always met with like.
I'm too old to do
people
Reddit,
disagreeing.
so
Yeah, it's my age group thing, right? Mostly.
Do you reckon Daniel Levy's got shares in Reddit? Do you think he owns part?
shares in Reddit?
doubt- Shares?
Or does he own part of the
shares?
company?
Nah. I doubt it. Why would he? It's like Enix somehow connected to Reddit, or I'm not aware of something, or
It'd be a waste of his time to. I mean, I think Reddit's kind of a. It's a platform for specific types of people, right? It's not like a social media network per se. I mean, it's kind of like a forum, right? It's like the old school forum days.
it's like a huge ass forum, but
Yeah.
it's really huge right now, right? It's the biggest forum on the internet, but
Yeah.
I don't think Levy would invest in something like Reddit, right? It would be really strange. And besides, it's like it's not only like a sport thing, right? There is literally like every single topic out there is on Reddit.
Reddit
so-
is politics. Whatever.
I just want to quickly comment on this comment from Leslie Crawford. Leslie Crawford is very pro-Enoch, pro-Levy. So Leslie Crawford is exactly the kind of person who would write something like this, okay? And Leslie follows us everywhere we go, right? So Leslie, number one, number two, it also depends what time you came. Now, if you came to the protest between 11 and 12, maybe 12:15, maybe there was 30 odd people. If you came between 12:30 and 1:30, this is a false statement. So I would rather believe what I say and what Ryan says and what the protesters who were there say than just hearsay. So
Yeah, because Ali
it does
Gold,
depend
because
what
of
time
his.
you come.
First of all, you can't trust this because Ali Gold himself, because of his position in the club and his stature, has to be inside the stadium far before anybody else is. Like all of the media guys get there, extremely early, at least like an hour before kickoff. So if you're basing the size of the protest on what it was when he walked down the high street, that's fair, but that's not accurate to the maximal amount of people that were there at its peak, right? So
At one point, in terms, sorry.
I'm just saying that both can be true at the same time. It's not a contradiction, right? A contradiction is A and not A at the same time and at the same sense. So if Ali Gold were to say at 11:45 there were 40, and Stel were to say at 11:45 there was 80, that would be a contradiction because it can't both be 40 and 80 at the same time and in the same sense, right? But to say it could have been 30 in the first 30 minutes that people were there, and then it grew to 80 in the last hour, both are true, right? So you don't need to call anybody a liar just because.
Yeah, either way, whether it was 30 or 80, it's still small. So for me, it doesn't matter. But again, the point I'm trying to make here is, I know, things like this, Ali Gold's words, not mine still, but you chose those words to put up on this show. There's many other words he said about the protest you've chosen not to put. So you're cherry picking the bits to slam the protest and the Enoch out, Levy out movement, yet you don't pick the bits that do support it. And this is why I brought it up, Leslie. I'm going to expose this nonsense that happens. Just like that guy that said kids were singing. No, they didn't. And it's the agenda that you guys drive. It's how can we make the protesters look silly? How can we make them look small? What words, what bits can we pick out of whatever we read? And that's what you chose. You chose to put that up on the comments today. And it's not being balanced. That's why I said
it's not about being balanced. It doesn't have to necessarily be a balance.
It is because why not find the articles that said good things about the protest?
But you don't ever have to give more information. Yeah, but you don't have to necessarily give more information than you necessarily want to. You just can't deny. Yeah, you just can't. You just can't deny information that is also correct, right? Because then you are the one who's guilty of a confirmation bias. And like for Tip Top Tottenham says, you can't trust people with a bias. Well, you have to demonstrate the bias. You have to demonstrate that the claim is false based on a confirmation bias, right? You can't just say, you know, it's a fallacy to say I'm wrong because I'm biased, right? If I were to say Korea has 60 million people, oh, you're just saying that, Will, because you're biased towards Koreans. Or say Son's a good player. Oh, you're just saying that, Will, because you like Koreans. Well, that's fallacious, right? I can like Koreans, and it could also be true that Son is, you know, one of the best left wingers in the world, right? Both can be true in the same sense. So it's not.
Will, you see the problem? No. Look, Ali Gold was told he wasn't there. He wasn't there. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he walked into the stadium at some point, right? So he may have walked past.
He comes up. Will, he comes up. No, he comes up from White Hart Lane and walks over to the press office, to the M Cafe to enter. He'd have to turn right and walk up the high road. He doesn't do that. So
I don't know if he saw it or not, right? I'm not making the assertion.
I didn't see him, and I was out there from 11
he
o'clock.
He wouldn't.
Was Michael Bridge that I saw.
Yeah,
he
so maybe
wouldn't come
Michael
up
Bridge
all the way where you guys were. He wouldn't. He would come up from White Hart Lane from the station and go straight to the media room, which is across where the staircase is. You guys are more to the right, going towards the south stand. He wouldn't go up there. He wouldn't take that whole high street. He wouldn't do it.
The bias isn't clear.
Sorry. Tip-top. Will, sorry. Tip-top. You're talking shit. You're talking absolute trash. I said, whether there's 30 or 80, it's still a small protest. I literally said that 3 minutes ago. Whether there's 50 or 100 or 200, it's still a small protest. I'm admitting the protests are small. I'm admitting that fans aren't taking action. They're choosing not to attend. More so are not than who are. I'm admitting that. Where's the bias? I don't understand where your lies are coming from. I go on all the platforms saying the fans are the problem. I blame the fans. I blame people like Tip Top Tottenham and Leslie Crawford. I blame all the fans who moan and complain, bitch, whine, and have hissy fits about what's going on at Tottenham and do nothing about it. How many times have I said that? So for you to say I cherry pick and I'm biased, what pit are you lot on?
This is the thing. You need to demonstrate. You need to demonstrate the bias. You simply saying that there were between 30 or 40. Did you count heads? Do you know who was there and who wasn't? There's different ways. If you could say 80 people throughout the time that the protest was there came and left, right? But that's what he's saying. He was there. But what I'm saying, it doesn't matter at what time you walked. Hold on. It doesn't matter at what time he walked past, right? He needs to demonstrate the bias. You need to prove that it is not the case that there are 80 there, right? Still was there. Other people have said that there was about that many people. Just because at the time you walked by, you only saw 30 or 40 you have a bias the other way. Hold on. I'm just saying he has a bias. Exactly. He has a bias the opposite direction. So he has a bias to minimize the effects of the protest, right? His bias is clear. You do if you're making assertions on people. You do need to prove a claim. When you make an assertion, you need to provide it. Otherwise, have you guys ever heard of Hitchens razor? Claims made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence, right? So your claim that his claim that you were wrong is, if he doesn't provide evidence, is can be rejected without evidence. So,
yes, the rabbi was there. Lee Wilder was there.
People took very, very good. He actually drove the numbers up in terms of interest. Look, Tip Top Tottenham. Throughout the course of those 3-4 hours, there was probably between 50 to 60 across the whole 3-4 hours. But in terms of people actually acknowledging, coming over, communicating, I'd say between 80 and 100. We had Michael Bridge bring the Sky cameras over. We had a big YouTube football channel come over and do interviews with me, Brian Daigle, Ben Kaufman, and Stel. There was the 5 to 10 new people come over to actually protest with us. So to say that there was only 30 to 40 is very much incorrect. That's all.
So you have two testimonies now, Tip Top. that there was in fact that number. So I'm going to take the words of the two people that were there for the entire time over somebody who walked past at 120.
Let me tell you what's happening, right? I love this. Like, I'm so happy because people like Leslie Crawford and Tip Top Tottenham, they're rattled. You are choosing to come on a show that you know we want Levy out. You know that's the general feeling. Not everyone on the panel always wants that, but that's the general feeling on this channel. And you come and watch and listen every week. Why? Because you're keeping an eye on us. I don't keep an eye on you. I don't keep an eye on Enoch in, Levy in. I don't care. But you watch us. I have got your attention.
Nobody's been blocked.
And for me,
what's this all about, by the way?
Yeah.
how I know. If
By the
Daniel's
way,
surname
this
was
is-
Ahmed, guys,
Yeah,
listen,
this-
stop all the racist pretending, starting racial stuff. Just stop it, because
Yeah,
this is a
because
non.
like this armed person is.
Okay, hold on. This is not only is this a fallacy because Ryan's
talk about
Jewish.
what happened on
Brian
the day.
Daigle, hold on. Ryan's Jewish. Brian Daigle's Jewish. So you think that their dislike for Levy is based on the fact that his last name's Levy?
Ben
That's
Kaufman, right?
erroneous.
You're Jewish, aren't you?
That's
Brian, you
erroneous, right? So you can't simply make blanket statements like that. Okay, I will block you if you make statements like that. Nobody's been blocked in the chat. I've got it up. Right? Nobody's been blocked on the YouTube chat.
Yeah, no one blocking anyone. Half the.
Yeah,
But if you
protesters
make
were
comments like that, I will block you because that in and of itself.
Well,
Guys,
just so
please
you know,
allow Elias to
half-
speak on it also. 'Cause
Yeah. I just
No,
want
I-
to say one thing.
go on.
That particular surname has nothing to do with what you're trying to say, by the way. It has nothing to do with the religion or whatever you're trying to say. It's an extremely racist comment. Please don't say that because my surname is the same one that you just mentioned. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
get out of here with those comments. It's
They're rattled. They're rattled. They're trying to destroy the argument. Let's deflect. Let's make it a religious war. They're rattled. Leslie's and Tip Tops. I love it. I think it's great because at
Block
the
you
end of
for
the day-
what? For accusing people of being racist when they aren't. That's what I'm going to block you for.
whatever anyone says, right? I think it's fair to say that the general feeling around the club is not a good one. The chairman is under more
See you,
pressure
Arn.
than he's ever
Have a nice
been.
day. I won't lose sleep over it. Not for anyone else up here.
It's by the way, it's not the first time like this person started some wild shit in the comments, right?
Do you know what? Just block them then. If it's more hassle, it's worth blocking. We don't need people like that. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about, guys, is what happened on the day. Was there a protest before
There you
the
go.
match
Graham's Jewish too.
that got media attention? Yes, it did. Was there a match where Spurs kind of didn't play too great? Yes, there was. Were the managers sent off? Yes. Did we win? Yes. Did we score 2 goals? Yes. Did Son break the record? Yes. Did Kane score? Yes. Were there Pochettino chants? Yes. Were there Levy out chants? Yes. These are facts. These things happen. So anyone that's going to come in here and try and devalue what happened or focus on like the elements of it that serve their agenda, it's a nonsense. We're covering what happened on the day. So look, it is what it is. If people want to bring it up, listen, I will call it out. If there's one person on YouTube that's going to call it out, you know I'm going to call you out if you come on a show that I'm on and do that. I would always call you out. And Leslie, do you know what I suggest? Come on the show and speak. That's the best way to do this. Come on the show, on the fan show that we do on a Wednesday, or come on, if you want to come on next Monday or on Friday when we go live, hello@tottenhamaway.com. Email me or Iggy or Will or JP and we'll get you on the show. Then you can speak. This hiding in the comments and just doing what you do doesn't work. I think that's quite fair. I think that's a fair way to do it. Come on the show and speak.
I agree with you too, but there's one thing I want to address. There's one thing I want to address with. Can you put the comment from NA up at 25? NA.
Oh, okay.
1 second.
At 9:25 or 10:25. Not worth debating with the trolls. I disagree. It's not worth spending a lot of time with the trolls, but when someone's making an accusation of racism to someone on the panel, that needs to be addressed, right? Because that type of virtue signaling, slander isn't acceptable and needs to be called out, right? So you call it out, you let people know, and then once it's been called out, if that person continues, the mods will take care of it, right? That's how it works. So, yeah, that's why we call it out. But it's important to call things out like that.
Yep.
I think.
Also, just to put this to bed, I videoed new protesters that came, and with each protester, I said to them, "Why have you come today? What is it about Enoch and Levy that you are at that point of enough is enough? And what do you think about fans that do talk about Enoch and Levy out, that do want that change but aren't attending the protest? What's your thoughts on that?" And then I invite as many people to come have your say outside the club, opposite the club shop every week. So Leslie and Tip Top, I will be putting those videos online, and then you can see for yourself what's going on. And every protest I go to, I'm making videos, interviewing new people that attend, because that is evidence, and I can't make that up. So watch out for those videos when we put them live. Anyway, listen, let's change the subject from Tottenham. I want to talk about something else, because otherwise we're going to be here giving the trolls too much time. Even though I probably started with that by bringing it up.
What, you still? No.
Listen, I will not have it. Right. Let's go over the weekend's games quickly and see what we make of it. So let me get rid of the banner below. So Man United beat Everton to stay in 4th place. Aston Villa are creeping up. They are on one hell of a run under Unai Emery.
Yeah.
3rd most informed team since he arrived. They're no joke, and we've got to go away to them. They beat Forest 2-0. Newcastle coming back from 1-0 down, showing their top 4 credentials. They mean business. West Ham sadly winning and not staying in a relegation place. Wolves beating Chelsea. Big Frank Lampard at the wheel. Yes, we're going to talk about that for sure. Spurs beating Brighton, obviously. Bournemouth beating Leicester are in big trouble. Leicester are in big trouble.
In my opinion.
Leicester are.
They're in big trouble.
Smith manager to the end of the season.
Leicester
Big trouble, mate.
And
Man City ripping Southampton 4-1, where we could only get a 3-3 draw. But we needed that because after all these games, the unbelievable game yesterday, the 2-2, what a game that was. My word, we're going to talk about it all. But first, let's look at the league table. Arsenal are top of the table, 6 points clear of City, but they've got a game in hand. United and Newcastle, 3rd and 4th, both 3 points ahead of Spurs, but they've both got a game in hand. We've got to play Newcastle and United. Villa creeping up behind us. We've got to play them as well. And then I think if we're looking at top 4, I think Liverpool are out of it now. I don't see Liverpool closing a 12-point gap.
Yeah, it's too big. It's too big.
I think they had to win yesterday. So let's just look at that top kind of 6, 7. I think Brighton probably are out of it as well now. I don't think Brighton are going to close 10.
They have 2 games in hand, so like compared to us, right?
It's only one over United and Newcastle.
Yeah, so I think they can be in a touching distance, but it will be really hard for them, right? But yeah, it's basically. I also would kind of dismiss Villa if that's the case, right? Because they are 6 points behind us, 9 behind United, and on same games, right? So it would be really hard for them to catch up with 9 points.
2 from 3.
I think realistically, Brentford, Liverpool, Brighton, Villa, those 4, they're battling for the Europa Cup and the Conference League spaces. Chelsea, I think, aren't going to get anything. They're
no fucking way.
No way. This is the good old Chelsea I remember before Abramovich. This is the Chelsea I grew up knowing. Right? It's fantastic, guys. Let's start with let's start with the West London scum. What happened there? They ditch Potter. They bring in Frank Lampard. It's the same shit. It's the same thing. What's happening at Chelsea?
As Mourinho said, different managers, same players, and same problems. They can't put the ball in the back of the net. They haven't got a centre forward worth trying, apart from Aubameyang, but I can understand why they don't play Aubameyang. The fact that they've spent £600 million and haven't addressed the striker situation is ludicrous. It's just a funny state of affairs. And I tell you what, if they lose their next 4 or 5 on the spin, and the other sides around them and below them just pick up the odd win here and there, tell you what, come the final 3 games of the season, they could be in it. I think.
No, they won't. They won't be.
Might be enough to stay up, but That's it. West Ham won at the weekend. The Bournemouth one. Look, it's tight.
Nah, come on, Ryan. We all want to dream.
27 points, 39
Yeah,
there.
they are not.
12,
They are not
they're
threatened
12
by
points ahead.
relegation. Come on,
Yeah, they're
we
12
all want
points
to
ahead.
dream. Trust me, but
I thought Forest won
I
about
think that's
30.
safe.
I thought it was like a 9-point gap, but 12. Yeah, they ain't gonna get.
yeah, you know what the best thing, like to show what the situation at Chelsea is.
FFP, anyone?
Sorry, again.
Chelsea points deduction FFP, anyone?
No, but honestly, boys, like the best way to describe what's going on with Chelsea is, as you know, my brother is a Chelsea supporter, right? And usually when I come home for like Christmas, Easter, whatever, right? We talk about football a lot and about Tottenham and Chelsea, right? And this time, I walked up to him. I was like, "Hey, what's up? You know, what's your opinion on the whole Chelsea situation?" He was like, "Fuck off! Don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to talk about them. Just leave me alone. Let's talk about your club, because even though you are a shit show to it, there is at least like a bit of hope." And you know, he was like, "This season, I don't want to be in it anymore, right?" So, it's for me, it's the best way to describe it, right? It's an absolute shit show. Like, we are a joke, and they are a joke, like squared.
I mean, how many games
Listen,
does Villa have from now
shocking.
to the end of the season in the top 6?
Same as us, I think. 8 games.
Villa has.
No, I know.
same as
I know
Tottenham.
how many in the top 6 do they have? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, right. Okay, let's check.
Give me a sec.
I didn't know.
Okay.
They
hold
have
on.
one.
They have to play United, us,
3.
Brighton, Newcastle,
I'll put it up now.
and Liverpool. So, yeah.
The next
So-
game is Newcastle United, then Brentford away, Fulham, Man United away, Wolves away, Tottenham, Liverpool away. They've got some big games. Brighton, they've got
Yeah.
nothing but tough games.
Horrible.
Yeah, so basically in the top 10 they got Newcastle, Brentford, Fulham, Man United, us, Liverpool. So they've got quite a few.
This
This
Saturday one's is massive. Villa,
Right.
Newcastle. That's a
I'd
huge
say
game.
is the sides you probably want to be playing right about now is probably the sides around 9th to 13th. 13th probably a bit of an exaggeration because they're in it, but I mean Fulham, Chelsea.
I don't want to play Brentford, Ryan. I don't want to play Brentford.
No, but in terms of not having anything to play for, they're almost on the beach now. You know, they're not really in the European mix.
Yeah, but they've all got something to play from 12th down, because Crystal Palace are 6 points from safety. So anyone from 20th. So really, it's only Chelsea and Fulham you want to play.
Palace, and they'll be fine. One more win for Palace because they're, I think one more win for Palace, they'll be fine. But yeah, Fulham and Chelsea. I mean, look at Fulham's form since they've basically not in Europe and not in the relegation battle. One draw.
Fulham are on full,
those
on
are the
the beach
sides you want to be playing because their season's finished, even though it's not done. You know, they've got nothing to play for. They're on the beach. They're thinking about their holidays. Those are the sides you want to be playing. So if you can have come your final 3-4 games of the season, if you're playing sides that are already on the beach, then you're laughing if you've got something because they won't go out with the same intensity and urgency as they would, say, 2-3 months ago.
But you got something like 7 points that separates 18th and 12th.
Yeah, that's all.
Not even 6 points.
6.
Yeah, I think if Palace get maybe one win and one draw, I think that'll be enough. I think 37 will be enough to keep you up, just because of the amount of points, the amount of teams that are in there. You know, they'll all be taking points off one another.
Okay, Leicester City just appointed Dean Smith till end of the season.
Dean Smith.
Yep.
Bye, Leicester.
Hey.
Walsall away will be great for them.
I thought they were getting Jesse Marsh.
He did. He turned him down.
No, the
Yep,
deal
he said that
collapsed,
no.
and then Rafael Benitez, the deal collapsed. So,
Yeah, Jesse Marsh turned him down.
yeah, bye, Leicester.
Yeah,
Leicester.
I think the bottom 3 right now will be the 3 teams that will drop.
I think it's between Leicester and Everton. for that last spot.
I'm a big Sean Dyche believer, so you know.
Yeah, he might be able to pull them out.
Yeah.
We shall see.
What do you guys make of the game yesterday? I mean, look, we were all praying for Liverpool to win it. When Arsenal went 2-0 up, Arsenal looked so freaking good, man. I thought this is a title-winning team. But then that moment, same as last year when Arteta thought he could square up to Klopp and it just wound everyone up. Xhaka just thought, yeah, I'll be a bully on Trent. Trent pushed back, and then Trent went on to have the best game he's had all season. The Liverpool fans got behind the entire club and the team. And I'll be honest with you, that second half, Liverpool deserved to win it. They had the better chances, but Ramsdale, what? Do you know what? I'm going to say it, guys. I think Ramsdale's probably the second best or maybe the best goalie in the league this season. The amount of big saves that guy, he is so freaking good, you know. And I laughed when they signed him because if you look at his history, the clubs he's at, they all got relegated or did well. I thought, they bought a dud. What a signing! What a signing he is! And was it 2 points dropped? Was it 2 points dropped for Arsenal, or was it a case of actually that point might be the deciding end of the season? And on top of that, are you now a bit worried about going to Anfield after what they did? Because they do turn up for the big games, man. They do.
I have no hope for that.
I want to say whether it's 1 point dropped or 2 points dropped or 1 point game, because it's very similar to, obviously, different ends of the spectrum in terms of what was on the line. For us last year, it was top four. This year for Arsenal, it's the title. In my opinion, it's 2 points dropped.
Has to be.
It's 2 points dropped based on the fact that they had to win, because now it's out of their hands. Similar to us last year when we went to Anfield, it was 2 points dropped. We had to go there and win. At the time, we had to go there and win. Obviously, Arsenal throwing it all away helped us out. But if they didn't throw it away, we'd have looked at that point, that result at Anfield where Højbjerg had the chance at the end to win it. You know,
it's still in their hands, but they got to beat City.
Yes,
If they draw or lose to City, it's no longer in their hands.
No. If they draw to City, it's still in their hands.
Yeah,
no, because then they'll end on the same amount of points.
No, because there will be.
City's got a game in hand. They're 3 points back.
The gap's 6 at the moment. So City.
No, it's 3. Yeah. Is it 3 or is it 6?
It's 6. It's 6. So if they draw, it's still in their hand, right? City has to win to catch them up, right?
Gotcha.
But that point was huge because right now, based on goal difference and knowing City, they will be slapping teams like 5-0 every single week.
Then they've got one hand on the title, in my opinion.
Yeah, but because they drew. I think City. I think City will beat them at Etihad, and I don't remember against who they have their game in hand, but I think
City's run out is super easy.
Yeah,
they're gonna win 6 out of those 8
or more.
They've got to win them all.
Easy.
They got to win them all.
No, but what I'm saying is they can easily win 6 out. The 6 out of the 8 are almost guaranteed.
Yeah,
they play the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, the tricky ones are Brighton away,
and Arsenal,
and potentially Brentford last day.
I don't even think Brighton's that tricky for them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely it's 2 points dropped unless City throw it away. If City then come back and only say draw at Brighton, then you can say it's a good point. It's one of them. If you go to these tough away grounds, say October, November, and you get a point like that, you say it's a great point. In the situation they're in now, it's 2 points dropped. It has to be 2 points dropped.
Well, and they were leading 2-0, right?
Yeah, it's got to be 2.
Yep. 2 points dropped. I agree.
If they were down 2-0 in the first half and came back and drew it, you could say, even if they needed to win it, right? They came back and got a point, right?
Yep.
Yes, and then Salah missing a pen, and there's definitely 2 points drop.
When Salah missed the pen, you just thought it's going to be their day. Everything's going their way. It's done and everything. But credit Liverpool. They did what we should have done in January when we were 2-0 down to them. Showed a bit of fight, which Liverpool did. So big up. Thank you from all Spurs fans and City fans, obviously.
Is it Is
Yeah,
it just
go on.
me who thinks? Sorry, Michael. Is it just
No,
me
no,
who
go.
thinks that actually this result favors Tottenham more than any other team because the Liverpool, who is like kind of breathing down your neck, they have only gotten 1 point out of this game, and your rivals Arsenal, they have dropped 2 points. I guess that's like the perfect result that we could have hoped for from this game.
Even if Liverpool won, I didn't see them catching us. They're way too inconsistent. You can't go from slapping Man United 7-0 at home and then a week later going to Bournemouth and losing 1-0. They've been like this all season. It's just an off season for Liverpool. Even if they're beating Arsenal, I didn't see them catching us.
Because they would have just been 4 points behind us if they would have played 30 games.
Yeah, but then you could see Liverpool going away in their next game. I think who's their next game?
They have a really tough schedule.
Yeah, they have a tough run. Leeds, and they don't have that tough games.
Okay, they are over the tough run.
Going to Leeds and losing 1-0. You could. You cannot tell me playing the way they're playing right now. Leeds, I think it's a midweek game under the lights at Ellen Road. It's not a good place to be going at the best of times. I've just been.
Ryan, to be fair, Leeds got slapped by Palace 5-1, so I'm not sure about the 1-0.
Under the lights, it's a different kettle of fish. Ellen Road is not the best ground you want to be going to if you're Liverpool right now, even if you'd won that game. I take very good chance Liverpool drop points against Leeds, and it'll be a big point for Leeds, or 3 points if they were to get them.
What about Spurs going to Liverpool? You guys confident? I'm not after that.
No, I'm not in the slightest bit. I'm not confident about any
result there.
I'm not confident about Bournemouth. I'm not confident about Bournemouth this weekend.
If we do lose to Liverpool, it will be like we've done the past 3 or 4 years there. We'll either get a draw or we will throw it away in the last minute, something like that. Or I remember Laurie's throwing the ball in the net in the last minute. And there's been a few others where we've given away stupid goals in the last minute. We never go to Anfield in recent times and been absolutely obliterated. So touch wood, that's still the same case. I believe the last time we lost by 2 goals or more was back in 2016. So it's been a long time. It's when our final year at the Lane, it was actually, our last defeat was West Ham, but then it was the Liverpool game that got us then on the run, winning 13 of our last 14 to end the season. I really don't see us losing at Anfield. We don't win there, but we don't get absolutely obliterated. We're usually in the game right to the end.
Yeah, it's always like I remember the game under Mourinho where we were, I think, 1-0 up. Then they scored 1 goal. Bergwijn had 2 or 3 clear-cut chances, missed them, and then Firmino scored at 90th minute or something wild. And I remember that game because I was seriously getting into football at that time, and I think Bergwijn got absolutely racially abused on online forums and Instagram and whatever, and it really shook me because I was just getting into football. I did not expect it to be that harsh, so yeah.
The thing is, though, we went there last year with an informed Kulusevski, an on-fire Son, an on-fire Kane, a midfield of Bentancur and Højbjerg. We had Sessegnon and Chicken Roy wing-back who can actually defend, although I don't rate them. And we had a back three of Dyer, Romero, and Ben Davies. And Ben Davies, remember that night, had the game of his life. We're going to go up there as it stands. With Perisic at wing-back. Did you see what Trent did to Zinchenko? Zinchenko's a better player in that position than Perisic, right? Perisic is going to get ring. What?
Seen Trent trying to defend. Some will have him on toast.
But who's attacking him?
Son. Trent would be Son, yeah.
No, wouldn't it be? No. It would be Perisic. The wing back attacks the full back, right? And Son sits between the full back and. Yeah,
Perisic ain't going to Trent, and Trent's going to have him on toast. On the other side is Porro versus Robertson. I don't think Porro's had enough time to bed in. Romero, Dyer, and Longley against Salah, Firmino, Gakpo, Nunes. I'm telling you. And then midfield,
Just
they've got
shot
Thiago back
Jota.
now. So Fabinho and Thiago against Højbjerg and Skippy. But listen, for me, if we had Bentancur, a
But
wing back that
Stel,
can defend.
Stel, you just know it.
I was
You
already on the
just,
phone.
you
Chicks,
just,
I already know it.
Stel, you just said it yourself. We went there last year. We're absolutely on fire and ended up with a 1-1 draw. So right now we are an absolute shit show. We play players out of position or not in form, and we'll probably go there and win 1-0 or something stupid like that. Like it's Tottenham, right? But before that, we will lose to Bournemouth at home. I'm telling
Bang
you,
on the
like,
ball.
it's
The
just
most
the way this club is,
Spurs thing
right?
to do. And
That's
I was-
typical Spurs.
I don't know. I think Spurs. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I think Spurs will beat Bournemouth.
Yeah, like,
My worry is Villa away, Anfield away, Newcastle away.
Newcastle
I'm
away.
not confident.
Newcastle away.
Yeah, everyone away. You're right.
Everyone away. Tottenham
Winning at
away.
Newcastle.
Man United coming to us. I don't fancy that either. Casemiro's going to be back now. That's it. He's done his suspension, and they've won 2 in a
Eriksen's
row.
fit again.
They beat Brentford and they beat Everton. 2 teams we can't beat, and then they're going to come to us at our ground. I don't know, man. I think that Brighton win covered over a lot of cracks. I think Bournemouth we will win because Michael. I think we're just better than Bournemouth. I think we're better than them.
Yeah,
But all the other teams, I'm worried. And do you know what? Did you see? Of course, Crystal Palace have got a new manager. Did you see Palace where it leads yesterday?
yeah, I watched that game. Absolutely fucking hilarious.
That game just became harder. The game against Palace just became harder.
You spin it and be like, yes, we got lucky, but it's one of those wins that could actually just build a little bit of momentum where you got lucky, but you just got over the line. And what you just need as a team, you just need that win, and then it can kickstart.
Like,
we did last-
I understand.
because
Sorry, Ryan. Listen, I love your optimism. We can't fucking pass the ball. We can't pass the ball.
Because before the run last year, we were like win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And then we had the win against West Ham. And we weren't at our absolute best against West Ham. We were better than what we were on Saturday. But we got that win. And that's what kick-started the run. So could it be the same this year? We don't know. If we can get and beat Bournemouth, put in a decent display. I'm not saying electric football, but put in a comfortable midfield, build that momentum, build that confidence up. And who knows?
Ryan, do you let me go with your thinking. Do you honestly believe right now we've got a midfield that can control a game and can actually put teams on the back foot for at least half of a match? Do you think we've got that midfield?
In big games, Højbjerg stands up. In games like and I say this all the time, games like Brighton at home, Bournemouth at home, Brentford, Højbjerg is dog shit.
Did you see Højbjerg against Arsenal at home?
Why not? Everyone was. Everyone to a man.
But okay, who else did we play at home? We beat Chelsea. Yeah.
Chelsea.
We always beat City. Chelsea is shit.
Højbjerg was immense last year.
Newcastle at
home.
We lost. Newcastle we lost at home.
Liverpool at home we lost.
Liverpool at home
last year.
Actually, I think we were unlucky against Liverpool. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think we were that. Eric Dyer doing Eric Dyer things.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was
the
like the game against Liverpool at home.
Newcastle this year, Hugo Lloris doing Hugo Lloris things.
The last time we put 3-4 wins together, I mean, this season.
When was it?
At the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, the beginning. It's a long time, man. I'm talking about 3-4 wins together. So we're not in that same journey as we were second half of the season. We're just not. And I know people say Bentancur, and I agree. Bentancur is a massive loss, but you look at the things that have happened since this time last season. We've got no momentum. We've got absent players. We've got we're just on a different journey this time around, and that's why. And you look at the teams like Newcastle, look at their journey. You look at Man United, look at their journey. You look at the momentum they're gathering. And you got us, Liverpool, Chelsea. We're in that journey. We're in that journey, guys. You have to be honest and say it. We're not as bad as Chelsea, perhaps results and Liverpool, but we're with that lot. You look at the other teams, Newcastle, Man United, fighting for Europe. Even Aston Villa, we've just been speaking about. You look at their run; they're on a different journey than to us. The reason why we don't think we're going to get those wins away from home is because we don't trust our team enough to go and do it. We don't, because every time we do, every time we show signs of they're sucking me in again, the uppercut comes and you get sparked out again.
Yeah, it's like, Ryan, with what you said about like the building momentum thing, whatever, right? I think we had like 5 games this season that were supposed to build up momentum, right? Winning against City, winning against Chelsea, winning against West Ham. We all said that, they are going to finally click, right? And what do? They always shit the bed. Like the next game, we always shit the bed. That's why I'm saying, and like, out of 100 games, we'll probably win 95 against Bournemouth, right? But that's why I'm saying I'm like not confident at all against Bournemouth, because that's what Spurs do, right? Whenever you start feeling that, maybe luck is on our side, maybe they actually will fight for something, right? They always let you down. To quote Steph from last season, they always let you down. They always bottle it, right?
Yeah, more so. This year for sure, more so.
There's a couple of questions I want to go through for the panel that I've saved during the show. Just to address Rocket. When you say Will Stewart, it was me that typed it, so it wasn't Will. You'll come on the show, good, because at the bottom I have put the email address. So email me and arrange to come on the show. I look forward to it. I've
screenshot. Just hold on.
1 second, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yep.
Yeah, because that Rocket comment. What do you mean by making a living out of
Guys, let me finish. Let me finish on it. I was breaking it down bit by bit. So I've emailed you to come on the show. I've screenshot it as well. So if you don't come on the show, I'm going to hold you to account. As for moaning, it might be about because you've been through this crap before, and that you heard of Tottenham before I've ever heard of Tottenham. My granddad told me about Tottenham, and he was there from the 50s onwards. There's a guy that sits behind me called Arthur. He's in his 80s. He's told me all about it. The guys that sit next to me in their mid-60s, they all live in Sutton. They've told me about Tottenham from the 70s onwards. So I appreciate you've heard of Tottenham before me, but I listen to a lot of people other than just people my age or younger. And as for this last bit, you're making a living out of my community. First of all, you don't own any community. Second of all, I don't own any community. And thirdly, this is not my living. Believe you me. If you want to make a living out of YouTube, you've got to be at least 50,000 subscribers and on your own, not 10,000 subscribers a team of 4. So I appreciate what you're saying, but with all due respect, Rocket, it's absolute bollocks. Question. Stelios, you said that you'd be okay with Levy stepping aside and focusing on business matters. Does Scott Munn's appointment do that to a degree? Right. So for anyone that doesn't know, Scott Munn, he was appointed, I believe, this week. Spurs announced it. He's the chief football officer. He's got experience in Australia and China. And he's going to sit below Daniel Levy, but he's going to sit above Paratici if Paratici comes back. So it's going to be the manager, football director, Paratici or the new guy, whoever comes in, then Scott Munn, and then Levy. So it's another layer, and this layer slides in between the football director and the chairman. So it's chairman, chief football officer, football director, and manager. Guys,
just another.
Does the appointment? Well, Ryan, you go first. Does the appointment of Scott Munn change your opinion on being Levy out? If so, why? If not, why not?
No, it doesn't. We've seen it for 23 years. Like, it's just another layer to blocking. It's like Levy's basically shutting out the noise. He's just trying to put layers in between. He's trying to just paper over the cracks to cover up noise. That's all it is. That's all I've got to say on it. It's just we've seen the same thing over and over again from before, and that's all he's doing. He won't let him do his job. He won't listen to him, and that'll be that. Then he'll be out the door quicker than he came in. Sorted.
And you do realize this season we are playing a preseason in Australia, so it just makes sense to build up that Australian connection just in time.
There you go.
But for me, this guy's got no experience in football. So I don't think he's been brought in for footballing factors. I think he's been brought in to elevate even more non-football related events that we have at Tottenham Hotspur.
I think he has a bit of experience in football, but not in Europe, right? Because I think he was like something like director of football in Melbourne City, as far as I know. But like with all due respect to the guy, I hope he does his best and we grow under him, right? But who is he again? Like I've never heard of the guy. Sorry, like.
I think it's more events. I think he's coming to build that event side of it. I don't think it's got anything to do with football. I honestly don't believe it's a football related appointment. That's my feeling.
There was a mention of something to do with Olympics there. Maybe Levy wants to run the whole set of Olympics in one.
I don't know if guys in the chat, if you know more about Munn's, let us know. I don't believe. I've looked into it a little bit. I don't think it's got anything to do with football.
Scott M.
Scott M. Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
My listen. I'm not against it, but the track record of Levy says do not trust it, and until I see otherwise, this doesn't change anything for me. My biggest concern with this appointment isn't his role that he's going to do at Tottenham, and it's not that this might be some kind of positive change. He has no European experience. He has no understanding of the Premier League. He's got no understanding of the transfer market in Europe, and he has got no idea how freaking competitive the Premier League and the Champions League is. I don't know what the competition's like in Australia or in China for football, but here it's on a different level, and in Europe it is fierce for players. He hasn't got the background for me, and I agree with Scott M. He's got nothing background compared to what I think we need. What he looks like is another guy in a suit, another corporate, another one who looks the part, a yes man, same as what Paratici was when he came in, and I think he just fits in that mold. Sit on the board, you're going to do as you're told, and you're going to love it because you love taking orders. I think that's the kind of guy we've brought in. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong, but after 23 years, I saw this with Kamoli, I saw this with Arneson, I saw this with Paratici, I saw this with... The only time it kind of changed a bit was Paul Mitchell, but that's because Poch asked for Paul Mitchell because he worked with him at Southampton, so it was almost like a team coming over. But I don't know. I mean, Will, you happy that Scott Munn is joining? Scott M is on the board.
I love Scott M, you know? A good guy.
None of us know anything about it. We won't know. Listen, we can't criticize the guy without even he's only, he's just appointed. Let's see what time what it brings, but I just don't see it as a footballing appointment. And this is half of the battle. This is half of my argument. I don't see anything in this club that's going towards the footballing side of things. I see much going on outside of football, but not enough for what I want. It's just a sad state of affairs. I really do believe that.
I missed it because I had a hardware issue. Who was the idiot in the chat that was, trying to call me out?
Forget the chat. Forget the chat. Tonight we've got a couple of trolls. They love us. It's good that they watch us and not.
No, you can come on my show anytime. You can come on the post-match show anytime, mate.
Still, what speech, what comment was held back?
Right. First of all, we can't hold comments back. Number two, all we can do is block or time out. Rocket hasn't been blocked, otherwise he wouldn't be able to put that comment up. And he hasn't been timed out, otherwise he wouldn't be able to put that comment up. So I don't know what he's on about. He just sounds like a loony. Maybe just too many whiskeys tonight. Go to bed. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Can you write on the comments now?
He's got a rocket in his pants.
ask what comment you made.
He's clearly someone that loves Levy and Enoch. He doesn't like anyone saying anything different to it, and he's triggered. It's the normal. Get used to it.
Also, like, I want to add one thing.
Jolinton in the chat. Big up, Jolinton.
I want to add one thing to what the comment that you highlighted, the by Rocket, right? And the thing that he was saying about, like, whoever you heard it from, I've heard more about Tottenham, right? Okay, like, I really hate it when people think they are better fans just because they are older. It really pisses me off. Like, does it make me a worse fan that I'm 26, not 66, and I'm not supporting the team for 40 years, but for 4 years? Does it make me a worse fan? That's really
he's coming after me because I'm American. Let's be straight.
See what?
Yeah,
Michael, what's sad?
Like, nationalities, experience, whatever,
Michael,
right?
What's sad about the older fan at Tottenham is the older fan at Tottenham who defends Enoch and Levy. Levy doesn't want them at the club. Yep. Levy's trying to get rid of that fan. He even called them legacy fans, as in you're outdated. Because in software, a legacy system is something that's outdated. Yep. He called the older fans, the ones that have been here for what, 50, 60 years, legacy fans. Levy has literally told you to go fuck yourself, and you defend it, and you want to have a bigger things that we say. That baffles me. I don't think any fan should be called a legacy fan. Likewise, I don't think any overseas fan should be told you know nothing about football. Just like I don't think the younger fans shouldn't be told you've never had it this good. I don't think any fan should be fucking told anything by this board other than thank you so much for backing us and giving us money after all the crap we've given you the last 5 years. They should be apologizing, not labeling fans.
Well, I'm gonna say right now, there's more ball knowledge in the tip of my cock than most UK fans have. So, and that's because I spend a ridiculous amount of time studying it, and I have over the last decade. So, suck on that if you want to get some of it. Just saying.
Will, you know when you say to me, Stel, you need to be more calculated and not carpet bomb everything, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Same.
Yeah. Pot kettle black.
It is what it is.
Will just comes in.
Yeah,
What I miss?
Just sucking heads of cocks. That's all.
Okay, we have another question from Bob.
Is it a troll one?
Talking about heads of cock, we've got a question here from Bob. Question to the panel. Big up. Roy Keane and Gary Neville say they can't explain it, but in your opinion,
yes,
what
Grumpy
is it
Grandpa,
at Anfield? Yes. What is it at Anfield that makes it probably the best fortress in the world at times? History, local fans. Right, Ryan. Let's go with Ryan and we'll go around. You've been to Anfield a few times.
No, I haven't.
You've never been ever before?
No, this season will be the first time I'm going. So, all I'll say. So
great coming to you first. Great coming to you first.
Great TV coverage. This.
Do you know what I heard? I heard Lee Gunner with Henry earlier, and he said,
"Will, can you just time out Rocket? Time him out. I'll do it. I can do it. Can I do it? Right, Rocket. Just to let you know, you are on a timeout. That means you've got 5 minutes to take a deep breath. If you come back again with that, just I can't be bothered with the accusations of others and racism and just whatever. Just let him have a break. Yeah, go on, Ryan. Sorry, man.
No.
That's right, Just Fly. That's right. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to everybody. I was being a little cocky before.
I briefly heard Lee and Henry discuss, and Lee said that he's gone to Anfield a few times, and he said it's really weird. Like on like say that it's a Champions League night under the lights, or when their games are in the evening and stuff like that, you get one atmosphere, which is like absolute buzzing atmosphere. But then there's been other times, there's 6-7 times that he's been there, and maybe when they've played Arsenal, and it's been like during the day or 3 o'clock or even earlier sometimes. He said the atmosphere is dead. He goes, it's dead. It's not the Anfield that people trying to make it out to be. So it's been very much hit and miss, according to what he said. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I've seen Liverpool like you guys on TV, and you know, when it becomes an important game where it's a must-win game under the lights, it's a different story, especially in Europe. But other times, you know, even the one against Arsenal yesterday, I didn't think it was an irresistible atmosphere. And given the sentiment of yesterday's, it was an anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. It was maybe the way they're playing and maybe the results that they're getting together at the moment. It's not the usual Liverpool, but still, you know, Arsenal at home is still a big game. It's not.
Yep.
I wasn't feeling it, so it's been very hit and miss. I don't know. That's my take on it, man.
What's fans who watched it from over abroad, like Michael, Will, Elias, when you watch games at Liverpool and Anfield, what does it mean to you? Does Anfield mean anything to you? Do you sense it's a fortress? Do you feel that there's a different atmosphere there to other grounds in the stadium?
My ex-boss used to be a Liverpool fan, and yeah, I once asked him the same question that Bob has asked, and he said it has something to do with the it has something to do with their prestige, and I think it's not just the atmosphere. I guess it's the history that the stadium carries. For example, it's not just big. It's one of those big stadiums that has been around for very long as well, like and all that sort of thing. And but again, I have not been there physically to say that what makes the atmosphere so big and all that. But also the atmosphere, I think in those kind of areas is like that. Like Manchester is just nearby, then you have Everton very near, and then you have Liverpool. That area is very footballing, and in terms of their rivalries, I think that's one of the biggest arenas in that region. So maybe it's that. I guess there's a lot of history with it that makes it that. Yeah, but I've never been there to really see what's enormous about it. But yeah, there is a bit of excitement when you watch the when you watch the Liverpool games, and I always enjoy the games whenever whoever plays the Liverpool. Like I enjoyed this Arsenal game, I enjoyed the Liverpool game away last season as well. Yeah, the atmosphere is there.
Iggy, your son's a Liverpool fan. One of them is. One of them is a Liverpool fan.
One of them.
That's his problem.
Do you understand? do you understand the Liverpool atmosphere?
Listen, do you remember when we went to Old Trafford earlier in the season and we stood outside the stadium, and you think to yourself, "This is Old Trafford, man." You can see it as a presence about
it. You feel it.
The aura is there. I've been to Anfield. You walk around the stadium, the aura's there, man. This is Anfield. This is Liverpool. And it's not the location. It's not the size of the stadium. It's got that. It's the walls. You know, you just know. You know, we had that at White Hart Lane. That same aura. You know, when White Hart Lane was rocking, man, it was no feeling like it. No feeling like it. And I've been at White Hart Lane many times, man. And now that we've gone more corporate, which is essentially what's happening to Arsenal, what's happened to Spurs, because even Highbury, man, Highbury was a tough place to go
I
to.
was about to say that.
And you know, that was a really small stadium. The pit, you know, the fans literally were on top of you. I was there as well. And now, you know, the Emirates is different. It's different. You know, West Ham, Upton Park, on under the lights, incredible atmosphere. I've been there as well. Now in this stadium, it's completely different. It's like and the Liverpool stadium, it still has, even though they've got a big, massive stand behind. They built a stand behind where the managers sit. far up. The rest of the stadium is still very much the old style of it.
Yeah.
You got the cop end. You know, where's like, you know what the cop end is like, and the history it holds. You know, when they're tapped there the second half, you're in for a hard time. Man United, when you win there early when I went up there with Stel earlier on the season, and you look around you and you see, you know, everything there, the trophies, you see the signs,
statues, trophies.
It's an old battered stadium. It's old. It's battered. It's not as good as you see it on telly, but it's got history there. And you know the signs, the statues outside Ellen Road. I've been to Ellen Road as well. Beautiful stadium with the statues outside of all the league title winning team. You know, it's got aura and it's got presence about it. That's the difference when you go to these places, and the atmosphere is rocking on us. You know, that's the reason why, and you get the aura about it. San Siro, someone's written something. Ben, San Siro's an old stadium, but it's an iconic stadium. It has so much history behind it. And you look at us, man, especially with this stadium here, as beautiful it is, and the times evolve. Unfortunately, we have to go. We have to move. We have to make the story, though, Mike. The thing is, we got a new stadium. You're moving to the next era, next generation, it's the future. But with this new stadium now, we have to create the story. We have to write the books, the chapters to make it equivalent. And at the moment, we're nowhere near that. Yeah, and Liverpool will write many other stories and chapters. Well, Man United will do the same. These teams will always do it. We need to start creating something. You know, the best season at home. I think what it is. The best season at White Hart Lane, we went unbeaten the whole season. That fucking season was the season we battered the stadium down.
Yeah.
I guess it's the culture as well. They are not that corporate yet, like how we have or some other clubs have become. So
no. Wembley, Tottenham, the Emirates, a little bit.
Stamford Bridge, too.
Stamford Bridge is still old stadium. It's surrounded by hotels.
Yeah, it's an old stadium, but the atmosphere is.
It's a bit. New ground. Yeah, but the Chelsea fans, like, you go there, they sit and they wait for shit to happen. It's not that they create that. It's nothing like that. They wait. It's like there's an expectation that they're gonna get the result.
Yeah.
For them to then come at you. See, and that's the difference with them.
I think the issue is with Anfield. It is one of those grounds. There's maybe 10 in the world where
there's history, man.
It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? Let's have it right. Arsenal and Man United are the two. They're in the top 10, top 5 maybe of the biggest clubs in the world, right? And when you go to their stadiums, you feel it. You see the Liverpool badge and you're like, whoa, this is Liverpool. And then you see the statues around the stadium, all the iconic players and managers, same at Man United. Even Arsenal have got it. You feel that the club is a football club. You feel football. You go to Tottenham, there's no badges. We've got a faded grey one. There's no statues. The old stadium had the Bill Shankly gates. The Bill Shankly gates with the clock. That's all gone. They promised that they were going to put it in the new one. They didn't do it. And that's outside. When you're inside, when you go, even the Emirates, man, when you go in those stadiums, around all the signage, it's the year they won the FA Cup, the year they done the double, the year they won the league, the year they won the treble, the year they broke the record for this, the year their player became the top scorer, whatever.
They have the Invincibles arm in arm with their numbers on the back of the shirts. They have that.
Yeah.
When you go to Spurs, there's no mention of the 51 title. There's no mention of the double in 61. Nothing. There's no mention of being the first ever British side to win, English side to win a European trophy. There's no record of any of the trophies we won or the UEFA Cup game we won in '84. There's none of the FA Cups or Carabao Cups we won over the last 20, 30 years. There's nothing. Even in the stands, the fans, you look at Anfield, they've all got their scarves up, they've got their anthem before kickoff. We've got an anthem, Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur, but it's
Nah,
not
not
sung
there.
in silence. It's not sung in silence, and sorry, without music pumping. It's not. We're not allowed. We're not allowed a lot of the flags and the banners the way they are at Anfield. Spurs have had the soul sucked out of them. But the biggest killer for me, though, the biggest killer is even when Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, when these clubs were shit, they still picked up a cheeky FA Cup every 5 years. They still picked up a little cheeky UEFA Cup. They still picked up a cat. They picked up a little something. This is the worst drought in the history of the club. Like, we've never had a drought like this since the 1930s, the World War One. This is horrendous what's happening. This is why I'm leaving out. They've sucked the life out of this club. So there's no excuses. Anfield isn't the only special place, but even all these years, like 30 years not winning a title, they still won 2 Champions League, 2 Europa Cups, 3 or 4 FA Cups, couple of Carabao Cups. You know, their fans have always got something to believe in. Their fans, even when Liverpool aren't great, their fans have still got. Do you know what? We still believe, man. We still believe. How can you believe at Spurs when you see Dan Juma coming on, fucking Longley at the back, Dyer talk of new contracts? How is it? That's a question for everyone in the comments, right? How can you believe in Tottenham? How? What is it you're believing in?
One thing I want to add to that, right, is if you actually look at it, because Liverpool are out of all the competitions right now, and also they won't fight for anything in the league, right? And if you like listen to the stadium, it's actually kind of dead right now. But the only reason they were up for it yesterday against Arsenal was because Xhaka went at Trent, and I think it rallied the crowd up, right? But in my opinion, like coming back to the stadium, right? I think it's a couple of factors. I think one of them you mentioned is the history of the place, right? You as a player and you as a fan of a opposition team, when you walk into that stadium, you just feel, the history. You feel the success that's been there, right? That's one thing for me. Second thing for me is that I think that stadiums that have stands really close to the pitch, like for example Goodison Park or Anfield, right? I think they are kind of like suffocating for players that are not used to visiting stadium, because when you miss a header and you go into the the side of the pitch and you have scousers pointing 2 fingers at you from like 30 centimeters away from you, right? It can be a bit like suffocating for those players. Another thing for me is the song that they sing, because as you said, we have Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur, but
Yeah, it's not there.
I'm sorry, there is no vibe with that song, for my opinion, right? But when you feel you'll never walk alone, and everyone on that in that stadium is singing it, 70,000 people are singing the song, right? I just feel like the whole atmosphere around the stadium is suffocating for someone who is not used to it, right? And another thing I would like to add is, if you look at it, Liverpool, like they rarely lose important matches there. Whatever you want to say, if you are like playing for Arsenal and somebody tells you, listen, last time we won there was 2012, right? And some of those players were 10 when that happened, right? When you are a Tottenham fan, right? And last time you won at Anfield was when? 2011, 10, I think. Maybe 14 or something, long time ago, right? Same thing with other clubs, right? It gets to your head. Like for me, they've created like this. Actually, Liverpool themselves, like the players, club, they created the myth of a Anfield fortress, and it's like living rent-free in people's head, right? And I think when you look at our stadium, like look at United, I don't think we've beaten United at our new stadium once, or maybe once, right? City, we are in City's head rent-free because they cannot win in the stadium for their life, right? But if you look at like Chelsea, they are not scared of that stadium because they've beaten us there like plenty of times already. So I think it's just like the importance of like, the history, the atmosphere, the closeness of the fans, them all being together. Also, one thing that Elias mentioned, that they are not so corporate as Tottenham is, right? I think it's a lot of factors. Like,
Mike, I'm
and for
convinced.
me as and for me as a fan from abroad, when I'm watching it on TV, like you can feel the atmosphere when they are rocking. They are really rocking, right? And I'm not sure if it's because like the microphones are closer to the crowd or something. Because I've heard our stadium rocking, right, during North London Derby. But
When
even
we
if
have
we are,
something to play for, Mike.
yeah, when we have something
North
to play
London
for,
Derby in May last year,
was
we
amazing.
had
It was
something.
amazing.
Yeah, I heard that was amazing.
Yeah, but when you have something to play for, then the fans are there, man.
Exactly
They're
right.
there. They will give you that extra percentage that you require.
And that's coming
You
back
mentioned
to my
Everton
first point,
before.
right? Yeah.
If you mentioned Everton before, if you look at that Everton stadium, whenever you watch Everton at home, look at how much it looks like the old Tottenham White Hart Lane.
Exactly.
It's the closest. When you watch an Everton game,
I love
it's the
Goodison, man.
closest-
Goodison Park is.
Goodison
I
Park.
like Goodison Park. Yeah.
When you look at it on the telly, Goodison Park is the closest thing you will find to the old White Hart Lane. Just the way it looks. It has that same aura about it. But Everton fans as well. Where it's a tough place because the fans make it. It's certainly not the team. It's the fans, and in that city, there's only two teams: Liverpool and Everton. In our city, in London, we've got fucking 20, 30 teams here. So
Yes,
it's
7 in
very
Premier League
yeah,
itself, right?
it's too many. So, and that's just in the Premier League. So I hear what you're saying, but the fans are there when you're playing for something.
Yes, of
Unfortunately,
course.
for too many years and too many seasons, Tottenham hasn't played for anything. You look at that season that we were in 2019, 2017 at home. Go and look at the atmosphere then. 2019, that run up to the Champions League final, atmosphere was there. Last season at Arsenal, home. That's the best I've ever seen it. West Ham at home last year. I was there for both of those games. The atmosphere was electric. Harry Redknapp's, that was incredible. That was probably that Harry Redknapp season before the whole England debacle happened. That was one of the most amazing seasons I remember to date. The North London Derby that season was incredible. And I'm saying that if Spurs are fighting, if they have something to go for, to fight, the fans are very, very present. Unfortunately, for too often, there's too much shit going on, and none more so than since Pochettino left. Too much.
Guys, we're gonna wrap it up. It's almost
Before we
been
wrap
3
it
hours.
up,
Before we wrap it up.
I got a public service announcement for Mr. Rocket, Johnny Rocket. Go ahead and throw that up there, Stel. Who exactly was I being racist to? Myself? I'm 43.9% English, 34.6 between Celt, and 20% basically Eastern European. Big up, Mike.
Big up the Slav brothers.
That's right. And 2.5% Italian. Fratello.
2% Italian. 2%.
2.5.
Oh my god.
2.5.
I'm gonna use a line from my old friend, clutching at straws, bruv.
Clutching at straws. So I was curious, who in England was I being racist to? Exactly.
Maybe the migrated Indians. Just kidding.
I suppose.
I don't know, man. These conversations that kill me, honestly. Just talk about Tottenham, man. Let's just
Ryan,
talk about Tottenham.
Now we've cleared up that. When are you next on? When are Tottenham on tour next live with you, Ben, Brian, and Brian?
Ben, I think, has got his regular show between 2 and 3 on the Coffee Company, where you can all see his coffee making and him just having a good old laugh and a joke with everyone. Brian's got his Cockerel Doodle Doo. I think it's coming out tomorrow morning. He's aired something out tonight. It'll be ready for tomorrow morning. We're going to be trying to get some more regular stuff out there. I'm hoping to be posting a few of my match day vlogs for future away days, so keep an eye out for that. They've gone a bit quiet because my phone's not as good, but hoping to get some more match day content up as the season comes to an end. So
Michael, I'm Czech. So, not Polish. Close enough. They're neighbors.
Close enough.
Elias, when are you next on, Elias?
Yes, I am going live tomorrow at about...
Sorry, Elias, sorry.
Yep, sorry,
to
Bob.
interrupt you.
Sorry, Bob. I don't have any Indian in me.
So, Will, why can't we see everyone's names underneath their faces?
You got to turn it on in your thing. You turned them off. This is your StreamYard, not mine, Jack.
But it's always on in my StreamYard. It's
We
never
turned it
happened
off time after
Yeah,
the
so you
stream because
see
we were looking at
brand.
something. We were listening to like old hip hop songs. Remember?
before. Where do I turn it off from?
So you look at brand.
Brand. There's a toggle switch. Show display names. Toggle it back on.
Oh yeah, I was wondering all show.
You could have just asked me.
Fucking
stuff.
Yeah, no. Anyway, all right. So now you can see who to subscribe to. Yeah, sorry, Elias. When are you next on, man?
Yeah, so I'm next on tomorrow night at about 11 p.m. With our new CFO, Scott M. He will be doing his exclusive interview first time on my channel. So,
And by the way, Scott M is a CFO. He's the chief frowning officer. Right? 'Cause he's always negative.
The chief fuckeries officer.
Frowning. He's frowning.
Still,
So-
you plum. I prefer banana, but I'll take a plum from you. I'll take a plum. All right, so check out Step Up Spurs. Check out Tottenham on tour. You can also check out Tottenham away this week. Iggy's posting up videos on Tottenham away too, and we will be doing our Friday show on Tottenham away too on Friday as well. Will, have you got anything planned for the channel?
Yeah, I'm working on an expose. Should be going out sometime this week. And
Oh, yeah,
then, then we have
Wednesday.
Will's working on another channel going down. We might as well take them all.
yeah. Well, might as well take them all out. And then we have the post match after Bournemouth that we'll be doing. And yeah, that's all that's going on for this week. So
check it out, guys. Also, Bob Spur TV does a morning show every day. It's pretty cool, actually. He drives to work and he just does a show from driving in the car, and people come on, and
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it's pretty good. So
I got you,
check
Sophie.
it out.
I take care of the conciliary.
How did I just get promoted? Tottenham away, never promote me. This is the link to Tottenham away too, guys. If you want to subscribe, Will Stewart's channel, you're on it now, so hit that. There's Step Up 2. Step Up 2. That's a dance movie. Step Up Spurs. Oh my god! Right, I'm too tired. I'm gonna end the stream. Make sure you subscribe to Tottenham on tour as well.
And the stream, Dave. And the stream.
And the stream,
And the
Dave.
stream,
Yeah.
Dave.
Michael, thanks for coming as well, man. Big up, Iggy. Big up.
Always a pleasure.
All right, listen, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. It's difficult having to move on to another channel and then not knowing if we're going to go back and if we go back. So appreciate your support. It really is
Hey,
welcome.
good numbers here tonight. Thanks for everybody coming over. So it's 200 plus. So
Yeah, listen, very good numbers considering.
Subscribe to the channels. Listen.
Big up Will. Big up
Subscribe
everyone.
to Tottenham away too. Subscribe to Will Stewart's 365 as well as the others, and you can't go wrong. You're gonna find us somewhere. So, and like I said at the beginning of the stream, we're not going anywhere.
not going
It's
anywhere.
not a threat. It's no threat. Like someone said, it's not a threat. It's just a promise. We ain't going anywhere.
Spoiler.
Just like Eric Dyer, we're not going anywhere. All right.
Yeah, if anything, we're
And with
signing
that,
a
can we
longer
sing Eric
contract.
Dyer's song?
And if you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you. Levy out.
Out.
Levy out, and we're out as well. Take care, guys.
There it is.
Take care.
Come
Bye.
on, you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.